Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody, from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Worshipper with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Make some noise, clap it up, get excited wherever you are, because we are back with another action-packed show for you today, covering the world of boxing and beyond, and more specifically, all the fight talk is today. We're at the press conference, or we're doing it in line with the press conference of Conor Benn versus Chris Eubanks Jr. Also with news, all that happened yesterday with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua coming to a deal, and of all people that I never thought would actually take place, hey, it's here. And on top of that, so much more, especially with the Virgil Ortiz whole debacle with what we've seen in recent interviews post his fight with Erickson Lubin, now further giving us some cause for pause of, hey, wait a minute, ooh, we got some concerns about this brother legitimately trying to back out of fights with the likes of Boots. And as always, it's getting sketchy, it's getting dramatic, and we're going to touch on it right here on this show. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, hey, I'm your host, Jean-Luc Welch. This is indeed The Welch Report. If you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like on the stream. Come on, get the likes up on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Come on and join the empire with us right here on YouTube. Be sure to go on and comment your thoughts and opinions on whatever we discuss right here in the chat down below, so you can have your voice be heard and seen by all of the globe. Absolutely. And please be sure to share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together. All with you and your support, we can make this happen. All with you and your support, we can make this possible. So appreciate all of you all helping us throughout the way. And hey, while we're still getting monetization getting place, again, it's getting ready to come through. We got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description if you'd like to support. Anything will do, anything will help to help us invest back into the channel to make it bigger, better, and stronger, and even more entertaining, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. Again, you all drive not just the conversation, but you all help this show be what it can be. And we're going to live up to the expectations of being the hottest show in all the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also be sure to rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform, so that we can have the ability to, hey, do what we do best and keep on taking over this whole social media airspace. But like we said before, it's a lot on the docket for today. We got Eubanks and Conor Benn too, and their press conference happening right now. It got delayed, not gonna lie, and so I was trying to line it up and match it up to when it was gonna go forward. But regardless of which, we here now, so we can talk about that fight. We can talk about the Jake Paul fight. And in fact, we might have to talk about that first and foremost, because of the fact that, like, we got Armin Rhoda, who's in the chat with us today. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Appreciate you tuning into the show. Thank you so much for coming in and joining us on this Thursday afternoon. What you got to say on today? What do you think about Paul versus Joshua? Well, that's a perfect way to kick off this entire show with the first topic of the day. So, hey, we got boxing to talk about. We got sports to cover. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Come on. Round one of this show underway. It's time to step into the ring. Let's see what we got. And now, the biggest thing that took over the airways of all sports platforms as a whole, Jake Paul, if you did not know, is now agreed, or is finalizing a deal to agree to a fight in December against none other than former two-time heavyweight champion and former unified heavyweight champion, and at one point in time, the best heavyweight in the world, Anthony Joshua. My God. Oh, shoot. Can you believe it? Like, I'm so serious. When I tell you I was so taken aback when I saw the news, I thought it was fake. I didn't think it was real. Lo and behold, when I saw that it was the Ring magazine that was posting this, I was like, wait a minute. This is legit. This man and Jake Paul actually went from fighting a 140-pound fighter in Gervonta Davis to now fighting a 6'6", 6'4", 6'6", 250-pound monster. This is the amount of words can't describe how bad this is from a standpoint of danger for Jake Paul. However, this is what we asked for.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here.
This is what we asked for.
We got some
That's what we had. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's been saying all this stuff about what he is as a fighter. He's been fighting at every fight. He's been fighting every fight with significant advantages in his arsenal. All the way from the first fight with him against Nate Robinson, who again was 5'4", had never fought a day in his life. Yeah, Jake Paul hadn't fought either, but he was still mismatch. And Ben Askren, mismatch. One of the worst, from a striking perspective, one of the worst strikers that we've seen in the UFC. He wasn't his game. Anderson Silva, age difference. And as well, he had slowed down. Yes, he had boxing experience. He had won some fights. And he actually gotten into boxing. But again, he was retired. Well past his prime. And well past what he could do. And was nearly as experienced as Jake Paul in the boxing realm. Every single time, Tyron Woodley, 1 and 2. UFC fighter. And Silva, UFC fighter. Mike Perry, UFC fighter. Any boxers that he's fought, like legitimate boxers, were tomato cans that were as bad or worse than Ben Askren. This is what we asked for. This is what I asked for. When I was looking for this, you mean to tell me that now he's fighting somebody who is 36 years old, who is legitimately a heavyweight, who has legitimately boxed for his entire life, who has been in the amateurs and the Olympics, a gold medalist, has been to the mountaintop of being the champion. Now, mind you, I said he's never up to that caliber. And I said anything in any division in regards to the top 20 or top 25 will indeed destroy Jake Paul. Wherever, especially at heavyweight or cruiserweight. But I also said that he would never fight. Remember that? We put out a short. I said he would never fight at heavyweight. Never. You know why? That's too big of a task. That's too big of a risk. We even brought up the names of the reason, hopefully, we even brought the names of other people we can fight, like with Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua. But we said that would never happen. He could have fought potentially Zerda Ramirez. But again, he wasn't going to actually fight for a championship. Never. But I can't say never no more because now he's actually fighting one of the people that I said he would never, ever go against. Never go against somebody of the caliber of Anthony Joshua. I was for sure. But now, we're here. We're here. Can you believe it? We're here. And Christmas came early.
Hey,
yes, it did.
We got the problems here. We got the problems here.
You're doggone right. Christmas came early for me. I'm telling you. I'm happy. I'm happy as all get out. Oh, buddy. I'm so happy. I'm telling you. I don't prey on the downfalls of men. But I'm going to tell you this right now. This is what I've been waiting on when it comes to the word of Jake Paul. And I said this almost a year ago. Well, I've been saying this for nearly a year, excuse me. And I've been voting, you hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head. Jake does not have options. This is what I was see, I was telling you. This game is coming to a head. I was telling you all everything about it. We're gonna get to the fight itself. Absolutely. And then we're not gonna like no. It's big. We're gonna have to talk about it. Like, I'm sorry. What do you like, Jake Paul? Like, this is too big to ignore. We're gonna get into it. Absolutely. But we also gonna make sure we get to all the stuff as well. Be sure. Absolutely. We got an action-packed show. Jam-packed show. No question about it. But still, I was telling you all, Jake Paul, the end game is on the way and it's coming soon. This road is getting narrower and narrower every single fight because he has no way to top himself outside of fighting actual stiff competition. None whatsoever. Not a soul. Because every event that he's signed with Netflix or anybody else has to be huge. I mean big. Something of a spectacle. And the spectacle, because it wasn't backed by substance, it kept on getting over-exaggerated. Oh, he's going to lose eventually. Oh, did a 46-year-old can beat him, or a 48-year-old can beat him, or a 42-year-old can beat him. Former UFC champion, yeah, they got it. Mike Tyson, surely, even at 60, we can believe he's got enough in the tank to handle this bum in Jake Paul. Then it went to Tank, and it was like, oh, now you fighting somebody 140? Who was one of the best talents in the world, but it's 140. Like, it kept getting more unbelievable. Fighting Julio Cesar Chavez, who was an addict for upwards of 10 years. Been in and out of the sport, and been one of the most inconsistent fighters. And he's lost to people worse than Jake Paul. This was the game. And it was going to be Tank or Canelo or both. And then he's done. But now that none of them, he's not going to get any of those opportunities. The only way he could go was to actually fight Comp that he was on the back burner of. And now he's got to prove himself on a stage where he has no way of winning. None. He cannot fight with advantages anymore. That's the biggest thing. Everything up until this point was always skewed to his favor. Again, this is why I kept telling people, these fights ain't scripted. These fights aren't fake. These fights aren't rigged. People ain't taking a dive. He is trying, and is actively hurting these people in the ring because, hey, one, he has some level of ability and some decent power, and two, he has to do this. If he doesn't really go out there and win, like actively win, this whole facade ends. MVP Promotions dies. And now he was able to do that, but against people, again, the deck was stacked against him. My hate, coupled with your confidence and you beat me, coupled with these stipulations, and you'll accept. Why? Because there's no way I can lose to this guy. Use that against his opponent. Use that against the entire makeup of the fight, and then boom, now he was gonna win. How did we not see this before? Why do we keep on letting this go? Why do we keep on letting people that aren't boxers, that aren't caliber talent, come through and try to beat this brother? And now he kept propagating himself to talk the talk, but never walk the walk, and it kept on passing by. And now nobody cares. Tank in that card with Jake Paul wasn't selling. There was still, before the whole situation with everything coming to a head with Tank Davis, the tickets were, I believe the building wasn't even sold out. I believe ticket sales were lower than what it was expected. I believe revenue was seen as very much under the bar of what we thought that fight was going to garner. You know why? Because people were like, oh no, okay, we see what this is. People finally woke up. Both Tank fans and boxing people as a whole. They finally woke up. They finally woke up. And now they started paying. They started showing it with their wallets. And the spectacle of Jake Paul, you can get away with it. It's done. And now we get my early Christmas present.
Hey, look at this!
We're here. Yeah. It's time now. When I tell you, I've been waiting on the day. I've been waiting on the day that this man got backed into a corner. I've been waiting on the day where this brother got put into a position where he can't get out of. And this is the day. This is the day. It's the day. It's finally time. The train ends in December. He's got a month to put on weight that he was just cutting to get ready for a 6'6", 250-pound monster in Anthony Joshua. At this point in time, considered the second or third hardest puncher in the whole of the division today, and still is a top 10, top 15 caliber heavyweight, and is in his prime at 36 years old, and has the luxury of just being active and coming off of a championship opportunity against Daniel Dubois. Yes, he got knocked out, but guess what, brother? He just fought for a title. And before that, he had 4 fights back to back to retool and recalibrate himself. Oh, and don't forget, if you didn't know, since that loss to Daniel Dubois and since his time out of the ring, guess who he's been working with? Which now I can say it's been confirmed, as you all brought it up in the chat. He's been working with Usyk in the ring working to get himself better. He's been coming and actively going to the man that beat him to learn from the best in the world, to get better and make one last run at a title opportunity. He's training with Usyk and his team. He's learning from them and what they do best. And now he's going to bring at least a semblance of that into this ring. And again, mind you, this is a brother who, even before Jake Paul and before Daniel Dubois, had already recalibrated himself. Up until the point that when another fighter who had fought without experience, but in this case had actually taken the heavyweight or one of the heavyweight champions of the world in Tyson Fury, who was seen as the best in the world, took him the distance and in a fight that I truly feel he won in the vast majority of the public. And Francis Ngannou, he fought him and knocked him out in the round, who, mind you, was and still is regarded as having one of the best chins in the world. Granted, if anybody was going to be able to actually hurt him, it would have been Tyson Fury because, again, he's a boxer, a legit puncher, and he's 280. Legit. And so, like, linked strength, leverage, or at least linked size and leverage with a boxer that knows how to punch, because these ain't UFC strikes. No, this is actual punch. This is legitimate. Hey, we got technique behind what we do. Yeah, we thought that he had no chance. And look at what happened when he did to Tyson Fury. And then AJ puts him out in 2 rounds in one of the most disgusting knockouts of the year with a chin that leaps above anything that Jake Paul has ever had. We're dealing with a situation where Jake Paul is going to die.
Hey, look at this.
He's going to die. He's going to die. He's going to die. He's going to die and die a painful death. In the ring, it is going to be remember we were saying that people wanted to see this man put in a coma. Remember we were saying that people wanted to see this brother put in the dirt. Remember people saying that remember that the public was saying, we want to see this man put in a state like Jin Sasaki, but worse. We want this man out, dare I say hurt, for good. Oh, it's egregious. Oh, it's violent, absolutely. It's aggressive. Some may say it's overkill, but I'm telling you, that's what the public feels. That's what a lot of people, we want this man out for a litany of reasons, both in and outside of the sport, if you kept with his life outside of the boxing realm. And this is all he can do. This is all he can do. This is all he can do. They are going to get their wish, and this is all he can do. Because there's no other way to go. The only option was, if you can't get Tanker Jake title or legit heavyweight, because the facade is gone. Now you have to prove it. And we won't pay unless we think you're going to get beat now. And you got to prove that you actually are up to that level. You even said on the podcast, hey, I know I can beat Anthony Joshua. He's too stiff. He's too rigid. I can get to him. Brother, you're stiff and rigid. He's been able to be a champion fighting stiff and rigid. You lost to Tommy Fury. And since then, you have been able to still have a competitive fight with the likes of Julio Cesar Chavez, who again didn't start punching up until the last 2 rounds. You were actually trying, and you couldn't knock out Mike Tyson at 60 years old. Brother, you have no chance in the world. But when I tell you, this is going to be one of the most, for a lot of people, this is going to be an event that people actually pay money and take time out of their calendar to watch. Lord, don't let it be close to Christmas. All of a sudden, it's going to be an event for the world to see. Santa's coming to town and everybody's getting a gift. That's what's going to be felt like for the wider public. And for Anthony Joshua, this is a tune-up. That's what it is. Like this is what, as again, Rhoda put it best. It's a tune-up. This is a tune-up fight for AJ. He's still got a fight in Ghana. That is like, where Eddie Hearn is still like, yeah, what's going to happen? Brother, this is a tune-up for that. And this is Ngannou 2.0. And for Anthony Joshua, we can talk about how, we want to see champions fight all the time. We don't want nobody messing with Jake Paul. I completely understand it. I completely understand it, absolutely. But, we've said, like, real folks shouldn't be fighting. But at this point in time, again, he got ranked in by the WBA at one point, or WBC, one of the WB belts. At this point in time, we were expecting him to have fought competition that is at least at, or has been at, some level of higher caliber. And now he's got to jump on the deep end, even though he ain't ready. You know why? Because when you talk that type of game and you play that type of game, you're going to have to back it up at one point, and this is the backup. And Anthony Joshua's a buddy here. He's coming off a loss. We've been saying he is getting out of his prime. This is his last opportunity to get a run at a championship. And of the other heavyweight contenders that are coming up, he's on the older side, 36. I understand, but still, 36 with AJ is incredible. It's young. It's young. And the brother still, again, has been active. And he is going to decimate Jake Paul. He's gonna decimate him. He is gonna decimate. Also, Al Booker, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Thank you to everybody else who's here. Hey, keep on liking the stream, keep on sharing the show. Let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Love King as well. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate you tuning in. How you doing? Good to see you. Let me see what you got to say. AJ is gonna hurt Jake bad. I can't wait to see. I'm telling you, a lot of people. This is the event. This is the code red situation. This is the code red, because you can't just go off of hype and spectacle. You're gonna have to prove it. You're gonna have to show it. And now you gotta show it. You talked the big game and you called him out. So it's like you called Jake Paul, you called Anthony Joshua out by name. And now you have to commit to it. You have to commit to it. And you ain't ready. You can't even get up to the weight properly, most likely. Because you've been cutting for this fight with Tank Davis. So it's like you in a world of pain. And you ain't never dealt with that level of reach. You ain't never dealt with that level of hand speed. You've never dealt with that level of instincts, and you've never dealt with that level of power. Let alone countering ability. Let alone jab. And the best jab we've seen you up against is against Tommy Fury. And that won him that fight. But you go against and you have to and you know what's even worse? Almost every fight, Jake Paul has been able to sit in the pocket against people or lunge and not pay for it. Because either the fighter's too inexperienced, too old to take advantage of it, or he's taller than them in every capacity and bigger than them in all regard. He can't do that no more. He's going to be dealing with a potential 6-inch height and reach disadvantage. The only way he can even score on Jake Paul would be to try to lunge down to the body. Anthony Joshua can literally just lean back and evade the hooks if he really wants to. And then just catch him with a jab, 1-2, and then you're done. Or just go throw a naked right hand if he wants to when Jake comes in, like he did with Francis Ngannou on, what was it, the first or second knockdown, before the third one that completely put him out. Ngannou tried to lunge in with a jab. AJ stood up, leaned back slightly, and then countered forward and put him down. Rocked him, had him dazed. It was bad. Let me see. Do you think the wars Espinosa gets in will make the fight against Inoue easier for Inoue to win? I don't think so. And again, we can talk about that more on the championship rounds, because again, we do have a lot more to cover on this show. But Espinosa, I don't think so. At least at this point in time, no. Now, eventually, the wars may take a toll. But I think as of right now, it's still, he'll be, by the time Inoue gets there, at the best Espinosa that we've seen thus far. Because it's hard for me to see anybody being able to take out him easily. It's hard. And most people that fight against him are worse for wear when they come out that fight, for good reason. Espinosa's a bad brother. So I don't think, I mean, again, there's always a possibility. After, again, you get in the wars constantly, it can take a toll. But I think that he'll be able to last long enough by the time Inoue does get there to be able to still give the fight that we think that fight's going to be like. on his end of the spectrum. So for that, I don't think it'll be as big of an issue right now. Right now. Now, as time goes on, yeah, we're gonna find out. As of right now, I think we should be good. I think it should be good. Cousin will limit his punch distance. Like I said, I'm not worried about his punch resistance. More so, it's the question. The bigger question is, can Inouye's power carry to 126 for a lot of people? Now, the most likely answer is yes. So, punch resistance or not, he's put people with good shins down. So, like, I don't think the punch resistance is the biggest concern. It's more so just the height discrepancy. Hey, it's going to be a war when you fight him, regardless. We know how Espinosa fights, and we know Inoue will be more than obliged to go and meet you where you want to go, especially with wars. He loves to go to wars. He loves to go and say, okay, we in razor close instances of life or death. Let's run it. He loves it. So it's more so, can Inoue avoid the power consistently? Because if Inoue gets caught with the hook, like he's been last 2 times, hey, it could be dangerous. And can his power carry up to 126, which, again, most likely, I have no confidence. I have no doubt it will. Let me see. Some reason people not talking bad about AJ for taking this fight like they did Tank. Shake my head. Tank Katie's real. So, here's the thing. Anthony Joshua, when he got knocked out by Daniel Dubois, who was, mind you, Anthony Joshua himself had already tried to regroup, and come back, because he had already gotten beat twice. And we were saying, hey, your career's a little bit of question right now. He, with that loss, especially with that knockout, we were all saying, it's back to the drawing board. Now, right now, you are out of that championship picture. You're behind Moses Itama. You're behind Caballero. You're behind Usyk. You're behind, you're behind even Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury's retired. You're behind Daniel Dubois. You are in the realm of, you're behind Joseph Parker. You're in the realm with, what, Big Bang Zhang? You're in the realm with the likes of, I hate to say it, but you're in the vicinity of Derek Chisora. And Derek Chisora is getting ready to retire from the standpoint of the immediate title picture and the wider array. He's still top 10, top 15, sure. But it's like he's back, way back of the line. Way back of the line. He's going to need these types of fights to retool and regroup, because we're saying, hey, brother, what you just fought, like, we know you ain't ready for a championship opportunity. We know. How Daniel Dubois beat you, and with how you went into that fight, but something's not clicking. You don't need to be taking those sides of, against these people. You don't need to fight Itama right now. You don't need to fight these real big contenders, because you ain't ready. You ain't. You got to work your way back up, because you, both from a skills perspective and from a position perspective, you ain't there. And we thought you were when you built yourself up, but lo and behold, you were. Lo and behold, you were not. Again, the balance of offense and defense is off. When he is balanced, yeah, he can take on anybody. But when he isn't, when he doesn't have that type of yin and yang with fundamentals and confidence, it's bad. As we saw. And so now with Jake Paul calling him out, with Anthony Joshua bumping down severely in the heavyweight division, off of that loss to Daniel Dubois and the requisite moves of everybody else coming up, this is one of those tune-up situations that's like, okay, get a win, get back in the saddle, and now you're in line for a championship. Now you can work your way back up again for a championship opportunity. Again, he did it with Francis Ngannou. And Ngannou was inexperienced, 0-1. Had one fight in boxing. In lieu of Anthony Joshua's comeback tour, he fought Francis Ngannou as the final, big hurrah before he fought against Daniel Dubois, I believe. Or one of the last big hurrahs before he fought against Daniel Dubois. So it's like, this is literally part of the strategy of Anthony Joshua to retool and regroup and get the hype back for him as a fighter after a loss. Because he went through knocked out to beat Franklin, knocked out Robert Elenius, then beat Ngannou. The hype train was there. He got put back into a position for a championship. Everybody was all excited. Oh my gosh, AJ's back against a buddy who just put Tyson Fury on his back. And this league's different. And it actually somewhat makes sense for Anthony Joshua. When is better fighting Caballero? If you want to see him actually get back on the side, you want to see him fighting Caballero right now? Do you? No. You don't want to see this cat going up and trying to rematch Usyk at this point until he gets himself. No. This is part of getting his status back up, training his skills to a championship level again, and getting a hype train to further put him in position to gain a world championship opportunity. If I'm the man that knocks out Jake Paul, when everybody's been saying that he's been fighting two small people, two bum other people, and he's put me as one of the bums in this division, okay, fine. Let's see what you got. I literally did this before, and I will do it again. I'm vying for a championship, absolutely. And this, just like with Ngannou, can catapult me back up there based off of hype and marketing alone. The other fighters that we were frustrated with, like with Canelo and Tank, when he was saying, I'm going to take on these fights, were because they were active champions. Or they were in positions to get championships. And you had no business going after or Jake Paul even attempting to bring up your name. None. And don't forget, we also had champions offering Jake Paul opportunities after he beat Mike Tyson, Daniel Dubois, and Archie Beterbiev. And he didn't take him. You know why? Because we knew he wasn't going to fight actual legit competition. Because he didn't have to. He was just bringing up drama. But this is exactly where we wanted Jake Paul to be at. You're at a position where you need to elevate. And you got, 12 fights or so? This is the step up that we were waiting on. A former championship level fighter who is at your natural weight class or above, or around the same vicinity, because you've been fighting at heavyweight, cruiserweight, heavyweight for who knows how long, 3 years now. And you yourself said he sucked. And he lost his last fight and got bumped down severely. This is literally the perfect position. It's literally the perfect position. Be like, okay, hey, this fight would make sense to be made. Tank was in position to fight Shakur and defend his WBA championship. No, there's no reason why. You know good and well that nothing about that fight should happen. You know good and well. Just off the weight class alone. Let alone where Gervonta Davis was in that division. Where he was ranked in that division, where he was ranked in most people's pound for pound. No, you had no business fighting. Didn't even need him monetarily because you are still one of the 3 biggest names in boxing. At least in America. But you took that fight again for the easy payday. In this situation, and to go adjacent from the competition that you've been trying to fight. We ain't saying Anthony Joshua's been not fighting everybody. He's literally been fighting everybody under the sun for his entire career. Literally, he has. Every single actual name he's taken on. Just about, except for Deontay Wilder. And again, Deontay Wilder was Deontay Wilder and Fury. And the Fury, in part because of his own issues, fell apart. And Deontay Wilder walked away from an upwards of, was it $100 or $300 million deal to fight Anthony Joshua when they were both champions. And he ruined the opportunity to fight against him when he lost to Joseph Parker, who Anthony Joshua beat. So, this ain't the same. This ain't the same at all. This is not the same at all. And I'm happy because we're going to see this brother get put to sleep. Put to sleep and out of the sport. That's what I'm happy for. That's what I'm excited for. That's what I've been waiting on. AJ did things in the sport. That's different. Again, he already accomplished just about everything he do, and he fought everybody that he could. So it's like, this is not the same in the slightest. And he's an actual heavyweight. Mind you, the only time that we've seen Jake Paul fight at heavyweight, yes, was against Mike Tyson. But he had ballooned up to 200 on the night of the fight against nearly every other opponent. And he's been fighting, naturally, at 190. 190, 185. And so, we've known he needs to fight up here. Now he's got to do it. And guess what? He can't. He can't at all. He's going to get destroyed. He's not even going to get destroyed. He's going to get mauled. He's got him. And I don't think you all understand. I don't think y'all understand. Also, let me go read this real quick before we move on. Then we're going to go to the next topic. Do you think Arnold Kagi can put Espinoza down? He has good power because Espinoza's been put down before. I didn't think. Oh, excuse me, K-Guy. Excuse me. I'm sorry, K-Guy. Excuse me for saying the name wrong. I don't think that Arnold's going to put Espinoza down. Truly. I think Espinoza's going to get the KO. I do. Now, yeah, it's going to be hard. You know, because again, Arnold, great fight. And again, he does have some pop. You right about it. He got, I think it's better than good power. I think it's better than good power. That's some great, I think that's some great power. But, I don't think he'll be able to get the job done. I think we're going to see Espinoza do what Espinoza keeps on doing, which is being able to absolutely obliterate opponents once he gets into an internal range. Once he gets into the going, brother, it is a hard tornado of pain to stop. It's hard. He may take some shots, but I guarantee you, you will be worse for wear. So I'm fully on board. And I don't think Espinoza's going to be put down. And I think it's going to be the Arnold's. He probably hit the canvas. I wouldn't be surprised if Arnold hit the canvas more than once before ultimately getting knocked out. At least in this fight. Not because he's not a good fighter, but because this is Espinoza. It's Espinoza. Incredible. At least for me. But let me see. Kagi's very good in the pocket. I know he is. That's why I'm saying, this is my respect for Espinoza. And what I've seen this brother be able to do, yeah. To beat him, especially in the pocket, which again, like with Fundora, he loves to thrive in. You got to be special. If you knock him down, hey, no problem, sure. Like you said, he's been down before. But you got to be something serious to be able to consistently get the upper hand and beat this cat. And for me, I don't know if Arnold's at that special level in the pocket. It ain't many. But as good as Arnold is, I don't think he's one of them. And I think once he really gets into that torrent of, okay, we here, we exchanging, it's going to be, I think it's going to be too much for him. And I think we're going to see Espinoza put him down before we see Espinoza get put down, at least in this fight. But again, just in my opinion. Also, Bodega, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Like I said, we're reacting. We got a bunch of stuff. We got Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul announcement. We got the likes of Tyler Benn versus Eubanks Jr. We got some drama with Virgil Ortiz that we need to discuss in some recent interviews that he had, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, in line with talking more about the Boots Ennis situation. Will he or won't he fight him? All that stuff. We're going to get into all that, absolutely. I'm trying to make sure I catch everybody in the chat before we keep on moving on, because I don't want to I don't want to miss nobody. Listen, Arnold has good tight shots in the pocket. He does. K-Guy is very good at closing distance and getting inside. If he catches him clean, he could go down. No, he could. Absolutely he could. I'm not putting it out against him. Be clear. I am not saying that he cannot drop Espinoza. I am not saying that at all. I am simply saying he's going to get dropped before that happens. I am confident in that. I feel that as great as he is inside of the pocket, Espinoza is better. And again, with him being able to close that distance, it absolutely is phenomenal. But just like with anybody that tall, he has mastered a skill that many people his height don't do. That uppercut, I am s- terrified for with anybody going in against Espinoza. For me. and also the counter straight when somebody comes in. And those two shots, specifically the uppercut, I think it's going to be difference making. Again, that's just me. I think it's going to be difference making. But regardless of which, it's going to be a great fight, and I can't wait to see it. We will, again, talk about it more and more and more as the day goes on. But we got to make sure we cover everything else in the world of boxing. Like with, what's the other topic? We got to make sure that where's it? Here we go. Yeah, I had to make sure I had actually the title called up. We do have to make sure that we discuss the topic of the press conference that's going on today, that's happening right now, with Eubanks versus Benn, because we would be remiss. We would be remiss if we didn't discuss that fight going on, because that fight, I believe, is this weekend. Yes, sir. With the blood feud and a grudge has been building for years and years and years, that cultivated with one of the better fights of the year last year, and Eubanks versus Benn. Now they're running it back again, and this might just be the final fight, the final bout, or this could lead to potentially a trilogy if we see Benn come through and get the upset. My question to you all is, what do you think is going to happen? My question to you all is, how do you think it's going to go about? My question to you all is, what do you think is going to transpire in regards to this fight as a whole? Now, as we're in the final stages, as we're gaining ground, as we are nearing the crescendo of the event as a whole, how do you think this is going to go? Because I am still sticking with Eubanks winning this rematch. I still am. Now, I know we've had some good points. We've had some great talking points. We've had a lot of conversation in regards to the changes Benn can make against Eubanks, the success that he had in the last fight with Eubanks, and also and how he can build upon that going into this fight. I keep getting, as much as I keep trying to rationalize it, I don't know how we're going to see Benn improve more than what we can see Eubanks improve when this fight comes about this weekend. It's hard for me to, because again, Eubanks won the fight. It was close. It was incredibly action-packed. But Eubanks won the fight with no controversy. No conflicting sentiments. And Eubanks, off that performance, can build on that and have an even more dominant display this time around. I truly do believe it. Now, I'm hoping that's going to be even closer. I'm hoping, because like I said before, I'm hoping that this fight is closer than the first fight. And like I said, I think I said that a couple either last week or early this week, I'm expecting, against my better judgment of what I think Eubanks is going to be able to do this fight, I'm expecting this fight to be closer than the last one. And I'm expecting to have some egg on my face that Benn is going to all of a sudden look like a brother I ain't never seen before. Or at least look like the brother that was on PEDs, but without PEDs, because of the drive to win this time. But my boxing mind tells me that ain't going to be the case. From the sense of Eubanks will get pushed too far to be able to not pull this win out. Because his ability, because here's the thing, Eubanks was able to win the fight both on the outside and on the inside when Benn was coming forward. So I'm struggling to see a clear-cut path for Benn to gain success outside of being better working inside the pocket and potentially not getting caught coming in as much as well. Being able to mitigate. No, that's the way. There's a way for Benn to win. It would be to mitigate the outside success of Eubanks. Being more deliberate in feinting. Being more deliberate in making a miss. Being more deliberate in trying to goad out shots. Not just to work your way on the inside, but to make them waste punches, waste energy. And then when you do, boom, commit to get there, now you have to make sure that you don't let Eubanks have as much success as he did on the inside, like he did in the first fight. But that cannot be propagated off of you making him miss. You have to make him miss. Because if he's controlling that outside and inside game similar to what he was doing in the first fight, yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be an issue. It could be a rinse and repeat. But if you can at least take one of those avenues away, it'd be insane if you took the outside ability of Eubanks and nullified that to an egregious degree. That would be ridiculous if he actually did that. But regardless of which, that's the road to success. He's going to have to take one of those two. He's going to have to make this a one-dimensional fight in some way, shape, or form. In the realm or for the realm of Eubanks. Where you ain't going to be able to win in both instances, keeping me out here and also beating me when I close the distance. It's going to have to be that it's one or the other. It's not a pick your poison type situation. If that's the case, we could see a real, again, rinse and repeat. Though, I'm really hoping this fight's going to be closer. But let me see. I have a feeling Benn is going to, hold on. Okay, I have a feeling Benn is going to hit Eubanks with a miracle shot and the will of his father in that punch. For redemption for him and his dad. And you know what? Credit where credit is due. This is a great center. And Teddy Atlas, I believe, also talked about this in past fights with other over the years. When it comes to the will and determination of boxers, having the ability is something you can't teach. The unique opportunity to pull something out of yourself that you didn't think that you had because of you're fighting for somebody. You're fighting for something. You're fighting for someone. Your desperation turns into determination. Despair turns into a desperate need for success. Everything comes to a head and you invigorate yourself. You imbue yourself with something that you didn't think was there before. And all of a sudden the tables turn, all because one, you didn't quit, and two, you got something in you. You got something pushing you. You got something propping you up. You got something pushing you, causing you to step forward. It's a, where does that, or where do those types of miracle shots come from? They come from a internal place where despair and hope meet together. Those types of shots come from where determination and despair meet in like a supernova type explosion. Stars crashing against each other, creating something beautiful and incredible, as well as destructive and volatile. But it births something new, a moment, an inkling, a point in time. Archer Okada could do that. We saw when Diego Corrales, I forget the fight, but when he almost got knocked down. Oh no, when he got knocked down. And somehow, some way, when he was looking like, hey, buddy, he gonna get put out. Turned the tables and knocked out his opponent. And you felt the moment. You felt the clash. You felt it. Fabio Worley, we just saw it twice. Justice Hooney and Joseph Parker, even though, again, the fight with Joseph Parker, more so, I think it was a bad stoppage, but still, hurt him. He got himself to that place because desperation and determination came together. It created that moment because of your willingness to delve to a new place. Conor Benn's gonna have to do that. He's gonna have to do that. It's more than just the skills. It's more than just the talent. It's more than just dealing with the height and weight. There is a necessary need to have yourself put in that tightrope. If you get pushed there, to cause you to bring out something new. For example, Baki, great example. Again, anime fan. Baki the Grappler. Great show. It's on Netflix. You can watch it. I think it's enjoyable. Part of the reason why he got as strong as he was in the show. In a show where everybody just literally sits around and if it's time to fight, Regardless of which, if you strong and I'm strong, guess what? We coming to blows. Who's better? And then we go in and battle our way. That's literally off the street. You'll see people 6'8", 9'7", 600 pounds, 400 pounds, 80-year-olds built like a brick house. Going through and just like, hey, we working, all right, trying to fight, let's go. Civilians don't care. It's a chaotic show, but it's great. In that show, Baki, how he got strong, his father threw him off a cliff. Father threw him off a cliff and said, if you want to survive, survive. You better find that spark, because if you ain't got that spark, your instincts ain't going to be what they need to be, and you are going to die. And he tossed him down a cavern, off a cliff. What you going to do? And walked away. Survive this fall and get out. Life or death. Yin and then not even yin and yang. Desperation and despair. Coming into one. Determination and despair coming into one. And boom. All of a sudden he unlocked a new thing. A new sense, not just of urgency, but a new sense of self. A new sense of ability. Was able to catch himself before falling to the ground and ended up climbing his way out of like some, 800-foot hole. Whatever it was. That's what we can see as a difference maker in this fight with Conor Benn. He's fighting not just for his dad, but he's fighting for the revenge of the loss. He's fighting for himself to show that he can do it. He's fighting for the need. I can't let this feud go wrong. There is a desperation that's prevalent. There is I'm behind the 8 ball. I'm fighting at a way that is way above me. I'm fighting against a brother who's taller than me. I'm fighting against a brother who's the son of the guy that beat my dad. I'm fighting for the legacy. I'm fighting for my own legacy. I'm fighting to not just survive, but to thrive. And I'm fighting for revenge. Because I can't let this feud go. And I don't beat this guy. I can't. There's a real situation. If Eubanks loses this fight, he doesn't get another shot at Conor Benn. I'm sorry, other way around. If Eubanks wins this fight, Conor Benn doesn't get another shot. There's a real situation. If Eubanks wins this fight, there's a real inkling that Conor Benn doesn't get a shot at this feud no more. Unless, again, it's such a big knockdown, drag-out brawl. There's a real chance that this is the last shot Conor Benn's got to get this win over Eubanks, to get redemption, to etch his name as the one person from the Benn family in this entire feud, which has been incredible, to get an outright win over Eubanks. It's on the line. He's behind the 8 ball, but it's on the line with everything taken into account in terms of the weight, the height, the reach. He beat you the first time. All day, yes, working against him, but you have to work through it, and he can. But it's going to be tough. But that's where determination and desperation meet. When they clash together, you get something beautiful. And you get something that can change the course of a fight. That's where those miracle punches come. That's the moment in time. That's the shift. That's the shift. That is the shift that can take place. And that's what he's going to have to access. It would be better if he didn't have to be forced to that place to make that change. But there's a situation where it might have to be that's what it takes. He's behind on the cards. He's losing the fight. It's getting in around 8 or 9. And when it's 10, 11, 12, he loses one more round, this fight is done. Going into round 10, all of a sudden, it's a toss-up. We don't know if he lost or won that round. But it might feel it's leaning towards Eubanks. Next thing you know, he needs a knockout to win. Now it's getting tight. How you gonna do this? What you gonna do? And that's where you're gonna see that miracle, that wonder, that that moment in time that is inexplainable, yet every time we see it, we remember it, where the impossible becomes reality and reality becomes history. That's where we can see it, and that might be what it takes. Because again, I have Eubanks winning this fight. To be clear, I have Eubanks winning this fight. But if we're going to see Conor Benn take this step, it's going to be a tightrope. And it might just take that very moment of a one punch that nobody thought was going to come, came through, and shook up the whole narrative of what this fight was going to be. And all of a sudden, redemption becomes reality. And next thing you know, history is looking completely different. Completely different. So, boy, I can't wait for this fight, man. It's incredible. It's exciting. It is like pins and needles. I wish I was in the UK to see this fight. Because when I take the crowd and the atmosphere for that environment, oh my gosh, it is going to be overwhelming. It is going to be absolutely stupendous. Don't let this press conference get exciting yet again in lieu of them getting ready to fight. All of a sudden, the hype's going to be on 10. The moment's going to become even bigger. The atmosphere is going to become even rowdier. The feud will get even this close to the fight, we'll get another chapter. And that will add to the gravity of everything that we're going to witness in the ring. And it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. It is going to be insane to witness. Oh my gosh. I can't wait for it. Let me see. Conor seems more relaxed. This fight I would imagine because he's focused and because he's dedicated. The understanding that this fight, I might have to take a different approach, comes in an all-encompassing affair if you're Eubanks. It comes an all-encompassing affair. Like, you got to be calm, but you also got to be on pins and needles. Most likely, I wouldn't be surprised if he lets his emotions fly this press conference or at the official weigh-in that happens, I believe, tomorrow. Because, like, I prepped, I'm ready, I kept my cool, and now I can let it out now. Because I kept my cool to make sure I do all the work, and now that I've done the work, what? If he does stay calm, great. But I'm almost assured that at least at one point in time, it's gonna come out. Because it's too violent. It's too much internally in this fight that is wrapped around both fighters. That like you can't help but explode when you're up against somebody like that. It's natural. It's natural. Ali Frazier. That feud kept on getting more and more, oh my gosh, fighting in the studio, talking back and forth. Every time while they were fighting, I believe they became good friends afterwards. But while they were fighting, every single time, it was brother talking left, right, center. Both of them losing their cool. And Ali's more so, he's an instigator, but he got instigated at times. It's that type of what's the word? Not villain, not antagonist. It's that type of rival. That's what I was looking for. It's that type of rival. It is that type of rival. Let me see. I could see Conor Benn, KO Eubank, and going crazy, jumping on the ropes. I could see it. Again, like I said, if we want to talk about a moment in time, that could be that moment. And so it would be insane. It would be preposterous. Because that would lead to a trilogy, and that would lead to then that could lead to a whole nother instance. And I think I said this yesterday. We're looking at a fight. With this fight, it is going to take something out of both of these men. I truly do believe that. Now, if it doesn't live up to that type of hype, okay, fine. Yeah, the better man just won. But I do think that this is going to be a type of fight that will take something out of both of these people. It will. Regardless of who I think is going to win and who I think is going to have the better changes coming into this fight from their first outing together. This fight, if it does live up to what I'm expecting it to be like, he is going to, both of them, not just Eubanks, both of them are going to lose something. They're going to lose. It's almost inevitable. If it goes that real raucous type of route, they're going to lose something. A part of them is going to be changed and shifted forever after this fight because of the level of, not just atmosphere, but because of the links against each other, the links they're willing to go to try to get this win is something spectacular. The lengths they're willing to go and get a victory over the other, I promise you is going to push somebody, both of them, to a point where they're going to leave something in the ring that they can't get back. Again, it's lost to time and etched to history, but it's something that they can never retain again. Again, I said it yesterday, boxing is sacrifice. The sport of boxing, it's a sacrifice. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. Time, money. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's fun. And sometimes it's yourself. Sometimes it's yourself. To be this great or to do this thing, you have to sacrifice a part of you. You got to sacrifice you are the necessary recompense. Your own greatness requires your own loss of something. A part of you that again can never be recovered, but will always be here on display for the world to see and for time to recognize. Frozen in a moment. But again, translucent and transparent to you. And you can phase through it, but you can't grab it anymore because it's not a part of you. Now it's a part of history. But because you gave that up, you now are a part of history. You are history in a good way. That's what it's going to be like in this fight. I'm almost assured because it's gonna be that much of a. There's too much on the line for both of them. Too much on the line. Too much on the line. Again, I have Eubanks winning. Be clear. I have Eubanks winning this fight. Not by knockout, but I have him winning this fight. But man, if there was ever a perfect storm for an upset to happen, if a Conor Benn to get his revenge, it's now. And it's going to have to be now. Because if he loses this fight in terms of Conor Benn, he might not get this chance again. There's a real opportunity. Real opportunity. But even still, we see I'm going to cover on this show, like Win the World of Virgil Ortiz. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We ain't forget. We have not forgotten at all, because there is some things that we need to discuss in the world of Virgil Ortiz and the whole argument of him ducking or not ducking and wanting to fight Boots. Not wanting to fight Boots. Again, off the backs of the drama that we had when we were watching Ortiz versus, when we were watching Ortiz versus Lubin. Ortiz knocks out Lubin in 2 rounds. Then they call Boots into the ring, and Boots and them go at it with each other. They start jawing at each other. Virgil asks Boots, is that a yes? You gonna fight me? Boots says that's a yes, and then boom, they go forth. And then afterwards, comes out and says the very thing that we all hated. Hey, if I had to pick, I would want to fight Spence. That's my dream fight, but I'll fight anybody. Had a lot of people feeling bad. Had a lot of people feeling angry. Had a lot of people going out of the way to really get their shots off at Virgil, saying that, hey, yo, you ducking smoke. You ain't taking the test. You ain't taking the challenge. Where is the bravado to want to be in the mix for greatness? Where is it? For a lot of people, they were saying it ain't there. For a lot of people, they might have been right. And as we can see, because he just had an interview with I forget the name of said podcast. Excuse me as it's blanking on me. But just recently he was on a podcast further delving into the whole aspiration of who he wants to fight next, what's gonna happen to transpire, who he would like to see. And up here it is. It's via is it 10-8, that's what it is. 10-8 podcast, that's what it was. And I can play it for you right here on the old picture-in-picture to have y'all be able to see exactly what we're discussing in terms of his own words. But when we're looking at it, this ain't looking pretty. And I'll let you see it for yourself right here. As we go to the old picture, yes sir, here's what he had to say in regards to fighting boots, yet again on the 10-8 podcast, just recently as I think yesterday. Now let me make sure y'all can see it. Let me make sure that we got it. Okay, yeah, we got it. All right.
Okay. You know what I mean? If I can fight whoever I want at this point. I fought Bohachuk, I fought Madrimov, and I fought Lubin. A lot of those fights, people thought I was going to lose. People thought I was going to lose to Madrimov because he gave Crawford a tough fight. People thought I was going to lose to Lubin. They thought he was going to box the shit out of me. You know, so I mean, like, I can do whatever I want. I don't care what people think. I don't care if it's Roy Jones, as great as his career was. I don't care. He I don't know. People always have a lot to say. You know what I mean?
And so now, here's the thing. Now, full disclaimer, hey, hold on. Full disclaimer. Though I can't find the full version of this segment on hand, I believe earlier in this podcast he did say, "Hey, yeah, I'll fight Boots in a more longer version of this clip." But again, it don't matter to me. I'll fight anybody, and I don't care what anybody has to say. Leading into this statement that got clipped right here, and it's been passed around by the wider array of the boxing public. But with that being the case, still this is bad because this is the same type of rhetoric that we heard from who? Canelo Alvarez. That we heard from who? Tyson Fury. That we heard from who? Tank Davis. And this is bad. This is horrible. This is the problem. This type of talk is not good. I'm keeping the same consistency, but I'm sick of the same issue happening. You can do whatever you want. Fine. Virgil Ortiz is in a position where, hey, you are seen as, for most people, outside of Boots, if we want to go comparison for comparison, but just in the division in general, as the best 154-pounder as a talent. With the experience and all that stuff. Yes, you ain't got a belt, but as a threat level, it's been you this whole time. Yeah, you beat Bowachuck. Yeah, you beat Madrimov. Yeah, you beat Erickson Lubin. And you had some great wins in your career, no question. You've been for the most part, at the top, from a skills perspective, of a very deep division for a decent amount of time. We can't take that away from you. That does not mean that you can go through and still just act in this type of way, because that's problematic. That's problematic, because that's the very thing that's got us saying against other people, this is not what we want to hear or see from a championship caliber fighter, when we know that your immediate opponent is the only thing that should be on your mind and coming out of your mouth of who you want to fight. It's an issue. It's a major problem. Like I said last time. Also, let me see. TSO Bodega did that back. Oh, well, I didn't see what you did. But whatever you did, I missed it. So that's my fault. Let me see. Teach. Yo, hey, what's going on with it? Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. Salute, Brody Welch. Salute to you, Teach. Thank you for coming back to the show. We're so happy. Hopefully you're doing well. How you doing? You're having a great day. Hopefully you are. Hopefully all of you are that are tuning into this show. Hey, leave a like on the stream since you're here and keep on joining in on the conversation. Oh, it's great. It's phenomenal. We've been talking about Tank Davis. Not Tank. We've been talking about, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. They're confirmed fight. We just got finished talking about the likes of Conor Benn versus Eubanks, who, mind you, if you're watching the press conference, they're getting ready to step on the stage right now. And I believe Eubanks Sr. is here with his son to walk up on stage for the whole fight as a whole, dressed dapper and as the eccentric character that he always is. Again, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if something blew up on stage with both of them on there face to face, because his blood fuse too big to be just contained. But even still, with all that, we're going to discuss that more even later on in the show, championship rounds and all that stuff. But now we on Ortiz versus Boots and the ducking drama that's going about, or the claims that are going around. And when we just played this clip of Boots saying some of the same rhetoric that Canelo said when it comes to David Benavidez or Tank when it came to anybody at 135, or Tyson Fury when it came to Usyk, I can do what I want because look at what I've already done. That is not okay. That's not okay at all. It's the worst thing. It's the worst. That is absolutely what we don't want to hear, what we don't want to see, what we don't want to transpire when it comes to this close of a mega fight. If you could, hold on, let me read y'all chats and then I can go further into saying my wholehearted problems with all, because I'm hot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm hot. Let me see. But let me see. But Benn by KO in 6, or Eubanks Jr. with decisive unanimous decision, closing out the sweep by taking the championship rounds. So man, a lot of people are saying that Ben's gonna knock out Eubanks. Dang, brother, this sentiment's it's starting to pick up some steam. It's starting now again. I have Eubanks winning. I do, but still, this is a perfect storm to have that type of knockout that like changes history from Conor Benn to have. Oh yes, he can. And again, I would not be surprised if they're getting ready to walk on stage now. I would not be surprised if they go through and absolutely blow up against each other when they get face to face. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be so exciting. But again, it's on YouTube right now if you want to watch the press conference while also watching this show, just to see the drama that unfolds. Let's see. Virgil is currently involuntarily checking to the Golden Boy protective custody fund. And see, I'm telling you, the ducking claims, the claims of you ain't trying to get the competition, the claims of you being a fighter that is the claims of you being a fighter that isn't about getting the business. And you, mind you, this is the same man who said, if I had the same opportunities as Boots from the standpoint of marketability, I would have gone for a championship opportunity immediately. All that's now getting thrown back in his face. All of that's getting thrown back in his own vicinity of, hey, didn't you say this? Well, why are you not saying this now? It's problematic. It's problematic. And it's because this is why I kept on saying you don't have room to do anything else except for making sure that you keep it about business. And you keep it about you trying to get the fights that you know are the biggest thing on your mind. Keeping it strictly about you and Boots and nobody else. Because it's going to be your reputation. It's going to take a hit. You're like, I can't say it any plainer. Your own ability to have the cachet of I'm a dog, I'm on top of the world, I'm this, that, and the third, and like I don't duck no smoke, I'm this heavy hitter, can't nobody stop me. That is gonna get broken down more. And I mean, just look on social media, look at Twitter, Facebook, YouTube comments, wherever. Look at this very chat. The conversation of Virgil Ortiz was at one point in time. We were not even 2 weeks ago. Virgil Ortiz is the biggest test that Ennis has ever faced. I don't know why y'all are picking Ortiz to just get walked by Boots when Boots ain't done nothing on the level of Ortiz. Ortiz is the real test. Ortiz is a person that Boots ain't gonna be able just to walk through like he's done against Sugar John or David Avanesian or Ramon Villa or any of these other people that have been a walk, come forward type of fight. Even Stanionis. People are underrating Stanionis and saying that Stanionis ain't really a big test. But Virgil, that's where we gonna find out what you is. For real. It's bad grammar, but I don't care. Because that's the sentiment. We're going to find out what you really is about. Plain and simple. Because this brother is either going to stop your hype and expose you, or you're going to show you really about it. But right now, we don't buy into that hype. Off the backs of Boots himself. Also, for a lot of people, it seemed like he was wasting time and going about to get to 154 when he said he was already going to. We were saying that Boots was the one ducking opportunity, ducking instances of being able to come through and live up to his expectation. Most of the rhetoric around Boots was at one point in time, we're annoyed. We're tired of waiting around. Where is your anticipation, not even anticipation, where is your drive to go and capture the dominant aspects of your career right in front of you? Where is that? And we were saying it ain't there because you wasting time. You stay in the division that you said you need to move up to. You said the doctor said that you need to move up, and you still said, I'm going to stay down here. When you said you wanted to be undisputed at 147, at 154, at 160, at 168, shoot, it up was at 175 even. But you ain't make no moves to make that happen, have you? No. So what's the holdup? You just said that you weren't as well prepared. You couldn't fight at your best against Sugar John in that second fight, and you needed to move up. So why the world just stay there in the first place? What was the point? He was getting a lot of hate. People were getting tired of Boots, annoyed with the constant waiting around. The anticipation turned into anxiety for people that were supporters of his. Because it's like, well, why are you wasting time? And now it's completely flipped the script. Now it's Virgil getting all that ire put on him. You know why? Because he's contradicting everything that he said that he was as a fighter or what he represented. And like I've said before on this show, it's not just about you going through and having the capacity to do whatever you want because you've earned that type of reputation. Fine. We're not denying that because what you've done has been incredible. What our problem is your lack of ability to handle what's supposed to be handled when it's right, or seemingly running from what's supposed to be handled when it's right in front of you. And using that cachet of, I've done all of this and I have this type of cachet, this type of resume, this type of reputation, and this type of success. I have all of this going for me. I've done the work. Great. But you're not using that foundation that you built to elevate yourself to where we feel you should be in competition when somebody else feels or looks like, okay, this is something you need to go after. But instead trying to say, I don't got to build anymore in this vein because I can build what I want. Y'all can talk, that's fine, but I don't care what y'all say, I can do what I want. It's all true, but what we're asking for isn't something that's egregious. We're asking for the biggest thing that legitimately makes sense. This is the very opportunity that you said you were waiting on. This is what you were waiting on. Outside of a championship, you wanted a big time fight. Outside of a championship, you wanted a big name. And because every title right now is either held up and or it is in a fighting situation, which I believe every champion right now is scheduled to fight somebody. Well, then it makes all the sense in the world that whoever wins this fight between you and Boots will get a shot at any title that they want. Any of them. So why waste time and go and not do it? Because guess what? You can still get a championship opportunity. Even if you lose against Boots. Y'all do understand that. Not by y'all, I mean like Ortiz. You do understand that if you lose, you can still get a title opportunity. Quick. Ryan Garcia did it and he lost to Rolly. Rolly, of all people. Volley Romero of all people. And he getting a shot at the WBA, is it A? No, you see WBO, WBC, whatever belt that Barrios got, he's getting the title for before Volley Romero, who is the actual WBA champion, got elevated from regular to world championship. There's no reason why this fight should not take place from the vantage point of Virgil Ortiz and everybody, because it's why it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Let me see, and they all be picking and choosing, ducking and hiding, scrambling, and it's frustrating because we are not asking for anything that's out of the norm. We really ain't. Let me see, that little win ain't no difference than his win over Mo Hooker. Yeah, that was a name. What happened? Wait a minute. We good? Hello? Wait a minute. We okay? Hold on a second. Okay, just had it. I thought my thing went kaput. I got a notification. I got scared. But as I was saying, we're not asking for anything that is out of the norm or that is belligerently unreasonable. Fans are asking for the thing that makes sense. That's all. And so, just do that. That's all we're saying. Just do that. Let me say, problem is Boots ducked when Virgil wants to fight, and Virgil ducks when Boots wants to fight. Honestly, that's what it's looking like. Both of them on the puck. See? That's right here. Both of them the problem. If it ain't one, it's the other, but everybody's to blame. If Boots was smart, he would keep the hype up. And he would keep calling out Ortiz to force him into a no-win situation. If you don't fight him, if you don't fight me, well, guess what? You ran. If you do fight me, guess what? From Boots' perspective, you're gonna lose. But either way, I'm unavoidable. I am inevitable in your career. You have to take me on. Apply that pressure. You gotta apply that. You have to apply that pressure. Absolutely. And so Ortiz is injured again. Always positive. Yes, he hits. I believe it's a trainer. Was it his trainer or his manager? I think it was his trainer. I believe it was his trainer. I think it was his dad. Yeah, I think it was his dad who reported out that he is injured and that he has to wait around. That's fine. I'm not, because again, injuries happen. Tyson Fury got injured when he was preparing for Usyk. Sam Goodman got injured when he was trying to fight against the likes of in a way, multiple times. It's frustrating. I know. It does happen. I'm not denying that the injury isn't fake. I'm not denying that the injury isn't real. What I am denying, however, is still, I don't care whether you're injured or not. If you really want the smoke, you should still be propagating the smoke that is in your vicinity. You should still be propagating the level of intensity that I want. When I get healthy, I'm going to take you out. It should still be that same level of anticipation and ire. When I say ire, I mean like confidence. I'm gonna take him out against him. I'll get propagated everywhere. That's what, because Ortiz feels he can beat anybody, and he'll say he'll take on anybody. Well, guess what? Keep on calling out the very brother that we see as your toughest opportunity, and at this point in time, would be the biggest financial payday in your career, from a hype standpoint. With all due respect, not because you ain't been a great fighter, not because you haven't earned anything, but because this is what is the point of not pushing for this opportunity left, right, and center? What's the point? For me, makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. Let me see. Ben Booker Eubanks in the first fight and didn't capitalize on it. And we're saying if he can, this time, it can be worthwhile. My concern is Eubanks going through and adapting to why he got caught the first fight. And if Eubanks hasn't made, not Eubanks, if Benn hasn't made some major adjustments, it could go into a further unanimous decision that's more clear cut than the first fight. But I'm expecting it to be an even more fire-filled war than the first time. Again, because of that urgency on the side of Conor Benn, with him understanding that, hey, I gotta make sure I get it done this time. I have to, because I might not get this chance again. If he beats me twice in a row, most likely I'm not gonna get a rematch with this cat. I'm not gonna be able to get my revenge that I want. I'm not gonna be able to do what I need to do for my father, my family, my legacy, in his mind. So it's gonna be something serious. Let me see. He won it undisputed, but he turned the fight down just to unify once. That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't even go after undisputed when he said he was gonna stay down. It makes no sense. He got offered to fight for Turkey to show and then turn it down. Yep. Verdict cap about not having opportunities. Folks act like he wasn't the number one contender at 147 to Bud, and his promoter offered him Alex Rocha. I mean, like, again, like, we are calling out both people, because both people have done stuff throughout their rises that has been like, man, we thought we were past this by now at this stage in your career. And so it's a shame. It's a shame. I hate it. I hate it. Let me see. Who do, I'm assuming me, who do you think wins, Bakram or Fundora? I got Bakram knocking out Fundora. You know what I'm gonna, that's, Fundora's injured. Ooh, yeah, right now, I would have Bakram knocking out Fundora. Right now. Now, again, Fundora's gotten better at using his length to his advantage while still retaining that internal infighting, which is so good. So that could give some trouble, because again, he's legit. That second fight with Tim Tszyu showed me something that, okay, yeah, I gotta put some respect on this cat, because he's adapted and learned, and he has gotten better. But I would have Bakram knocking out Fundora if they fought against each other. I would. It'd be bloody, but I think I'm with you. I would have him knocking him out. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure. Gosh, great day in the morning. We got people chatting left, right, and center. I'm trying to make sure. Trying to make sure. See, y'all chatting so much. This thing's loading up slow. Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna talk about this while this chat gets. While this chat starts catching up, because right now it's lagging a little bit. We got a lot of traffic, which is good, which is great. Hey, we got people wanting to stay around. Yeah, it makes it spectacular. Also, might be I just need to switch my Wi-Fi a little bit, but even still, that's it here. But like with the whole drama, with the whole drama, all this can be alleviated if Virgil just comes out and consistently says one thing: I want to fight Boots Ennis. That's it. That's all he has to say. If he just keeps on, no matter what statement he says, if he just always leads it with, yeah, I want to fight Boots next, it would be so much easier to have at least the argument of, okay, we know clear cut where everybody's mind is. We don't got a rumor about are you scared. We don't got a rumor about are you worried. We don't got a rumor about whether or not you really want that type of smoke. It's here. You're consistently saying the same message. This is why we don't like confusion or the uncertainty of, hey, what you saying and what you represent, it ain't matching up. We got a problem. We got an issue. We got a sentiment, and we have some conflicting information that has everybody all up in arms. Because in what looks to be a very much clear and cut type of decision, you're going out of your way and doing all this other stuff. And it's got us all asking the wrong thing. Got us all looking in the wrong direction. Got us all looking not at the fight, but at everything outside of the fight. It should be that who do we think is going to win? It should be who's excited for who. It should be X, Y, Z. To be honest, I'm gonna be completely honest. The only thing that should be talked about in this fight is strictly the fight. There's no reason. Subtle rant. Full disclaimer. Subtle rant coming. Subtle. Not long. Subtle. We still got a show to do, but just subtle. We have been, and I'll speak for me, I have been apart too much. I'm still young. Trust me, I'm still young. I ain't been in this game nearly as long as other people. I completely understand. Many people have seen and heard and known more stories and instances than me, and have had more experience in the boxing world and sports world as a whole. I am not going to act like I'm the end-all be-all. Lord knows. But in the short time I've been here, on YouTube, doing content and all this stuff, there has been more talk surrounding the idea of fights or the conversation of who doesn't want to fight somebody than the actual fight itself. For most of the time that we talk on this channel, or just in channels in general. This isn't the fault of the fans, or this isn't the fault of you all in the comments, which it's just in general. In general, every single instance that we go about, in some way, shape, or form, it's a matter of, will he actually take the fight? Is there going to be a situation where he ain't going to duck? The fact that ducking is this much of a constant problem in the boxing world, even amongst the biggest names that we have here, and that somebody who doesn't avoid competition is seen as an outlier of the sport. Again, the Inoways, the Benavidez's of the world, the Usyks of the world, Terrence Crawford, they're never going to leave him out. Sean Porter, and he gets disrespected as a talented fighter. It's always, they're the example. But then the amount of people that say, okay, we should follow him, and then don't follow that, it's like, well, what the world? The fact that we keep having these ducking conversations, even from the people like Virgil Ortiz, who we all, or at least the reputation is, he's a killer, he's a monster, he'll do this, that, and the third against anybody and everybody. It's like, it gets tiring. It gets annoyed. Well, not to me, but like in the wider scope of the boxing world. And it should not be that we're constantly having these types of conversations about people avoiding people. Is difference in step, he got paid like $10 million, $25 million to step aside for a different fight. That's a different story. We're talking about like this is your moment. This is your time. Whether it's Boots, Virgil, Canelo, anybody. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. This is the very thing that we are looking at with you. That you've earned this, you've deserved this, and you want this from the standpoint of what we expect to see. And it's like, it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing oh, excuse me. Sorry, my apologies. I hit the mic. My bad. So sorry. So sorry to your ears. Hit the middle of the mic. My apologies. But it gets to a point where it's like, why is it that this type of uncertainty conversation, we got to try to dig up stories, you got to go back and have to have almost like a pin board of history of what everybody has to say so that we can make sure we have what the actual story or timeline of why this fight didn't happen to take into effect, because it's always so confusing. It's always so confusing. It's always so, it's like, at some point when again, I'm sorry, again, a slight rant. This is a slight rant. But like, I got to get it off my chest. This is not what this sport is supposed to be. And every time I'm thinking we get consistent, we get some consistency, We get some people fighting. We get unified championships. We get undisputed champions. It's been a pretty decent year as a whole, but it has been filled a whole lot with the discourse of will he, won't he? Will something or won't something happen? Will something or won't something transpire? Is this person going to actually commit to the most logical and also lucrative route that we've seen them earn in their position to fight? Even with Teofimo Lopez, everybody was offered 3 opportunities to fight people. Boots Ennis offered multiple opportunities. Virgil with Turkey Al Sheik offered multiple opportunities. And it's mind-boggling. And to be honest, I'm gonna be real. Okay. Finally, my thing finally loaded up. Okay, here we go. Definitely not. Again, I got chat. The chat caught up now. The chat has caught up now, so I can start clicking people again. But it's like it's definitely annoying. And here's the thing. It shouldn't be that it's this convoluted to understand and also to keep track of receipts to this much of a degree, so we know what is and isn't the case. It shouldn't be. We can argue and we can have conversations, we can debate and try to do which story is the right story. Was he actually offered X, Y, Z? But no, this happened behind the scenes. But no, this happened as well. Don't forget he was hurt, but he recovered and fought earlier. All this stuff. But he said he wanted to stay, but he moved up anyway. But he said he wanted to go out to undisputed. All this different stuff. We shouldn't have to keep this much receipts in regards to fights that we want to see and just the story of the sport as all. We shouldn't. I'm gonna be real. It makes for great conversation. Can it make for great content? Absolutely. Can it make for phenomenal views? Which they're growing, but views, quote unquote, on channels. Sure, fine. Does it make for discourse? Yeah. But it's discourse that ultimately runs into the same circle. It always ends the same way. We don't know when the fight's going to happen. More importantly, we don't even know if it'll ever take place. And so it's like, why? Why is this always this? Why is this what the boxing world is? The majority of the time. And it's infuriating. I just had to get it off my chest. It's incredibly infuriating. It's incredibly frustrating. And the Lord knows. I hope we can make it so that in the future, we don't have to have these conversations anymore. Whether it's with Boots, whether it's with Ortiz, whether it's with Canelo, whether it's with anybody in the boxing world, especially the next generation. I don't want to have this conversation. I don't want to be having this type of talk with Abdullah Mason. I don't want to have this type of talk with Floyd Schofield. I don't want to have this type of talk when it comes to Shakur Stevenson or others at 140. Teofimo Lopez in the future. I don't want to have Brian Norman in the future. I don't want to have this type of rhetoric consistently coming about. I don't. It's even going down to the likes of Nick Ball at 126 because of the fact that we think he's just waiting on, in a way, that he should have already went and tried to go out to unify, but yet he ain't doing it. Why? Because he's trying to hold out on the biggest payday. It's somewhat what it's looking like, and it's like that ain't right. That ain't good. And so it's frustrating. Let me see. It does suck for Bakram, with him being IBF champ. His options of what he can be a voluntary title defense are limited. Yeah, it kind of is. Now, again, once this next saga goes with whoever Fundora defends his title against, because I don't know if last time I checked, or last time you all told me, I believe it was that the fight had not been rescheduled. So I believe that we're still waiting out to see what's going to happen with that. But whoever he defends his title against, and the winner of Abbas versus Zayas, now once that saga ends, okay, we got options rolling in. We got opportunities. Boom. So that's why I'm so excited for 154, because once this initial surge of championship defenses and or unifications come about, everything in the division kind of opens up a little bit. Zayas becomes a unified champion against Abbas. Not only will he be the youngest champion, most likely he's going to be seen as one of the hot tickets that everybody wants to face. So, opens up more opportunities for like some, hey, Bakram, you can go try to get a belt, or Zayas can beat you potentially, and then that bolsters the name up even more. Again, with Boots and Ortiz still there, let's say that fight doesn't happen and everybody else gets their championships done. All of a sudden, we can see Ortiz versus Adams, Boots versus Boachuk. If we don't see that fight take place, and the division starts to move in an even more crash course affair of who's truly at the top of the mountain. It can happen. That's what I'm expecting come next year. Again, expecting come next year. But we don't know. We don't know. We could be having the same conversation yet again about more than just Boots and Verge. It could be everybody at that point. Hypothetically, I hope it isn't the case. It was that we were talking about 154 as a division that was filled with talent. It was just, we're waiting on one domino to fall and everything else will start to take place. But it could be that once multiple dominoes start falling, the line and road still doesn't go. It could still be that way, and I hope it ain't. Lord knows I hope it ain't. That's not what we spending time for. I love this sport. We love this sport. I love sports as a whole. Boxing, I love. And it's like, we don't want to kill ourselves because people just ain't doing what they're supposed to do. We can explain the business side. We can explain all that stuff. Absolutely. And all that has the conversation. But the biggest thing is still the biggest thing. We ain't getting what we're supposed to get. And what's supposed to be done, especially when it's like, okay, it makes sense, it ain't getting done. And it's a lot of controversy. I can't stand it. Let me see. Brian Norman, the savior of American boxing, he needs to win. And if he does win against Devin Haney, yeah, that would be huge. I think even if he lost to the likes of Devin Haney, he would still be able to come back and be a huge star. Because the way that he fights, yeah, it would be that you can't. It seems like right now he isn't avoiding anybody, which is, I love it. Absolutely. But like I said, we've had people that look like they're taking on every test, and then they come, once they reach that zenith, all of a sudden now it's, okay, I can do what I want. Notice the same phrase happens. It's the same phrase that causes the problem. It's the same phrase that causes the issue. I do what I want. Do y'all recognize that? It's the same phrase. I can do what I want. Every single time we don't get the fight that should be happening. Not just because of fan interest, but because literally everything lines up that this makes perfect sense. It's always somebody saying, I can do what I want. I can make my own decisions. I control my career. I'm able to walk. It doesn't matter what the public says. Roy Jones Jr., it doesn't matter, with all due respect, what you have to say. It doesn't matter what the fans may say. Everybody's got something to say. It just ain't the case because, it just doesn't matter because I'm the one that's riding the ship. I'm the one that's sailing the seas of blood and guts. I'm the one that's driving the car. It's my career. I earned this. I did the work to get here. I can make the decision of where I go from here. Every time we've heard that same sentiment, it has always been backed by a decision to avoid the biggest competition possible and or to elongate a fight that was supposed to transpire. That's why I kept saying Tyson Fury did it. That's why I kept saying Canelo did it. That's why I kept saying Tank is doing it now. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the likes of Nick Ball inevitably when asked why he isn't getting or fighting to go for unified championship status, he's going to be able to say, well, I can do what I want. Hopefully that's not the case, but we don't know. Why have you not fought Espinosa? Well, I can do what I want. Why don't you go try to challenge Stephen Fulton when he had the championship? Well, I can do what I want. I don't want that to be the sentiment, but that is what happens every time, every single time. And it frustrates me to the core because we're losing out on opportunities that we shouldn't be losing out on at all, whatsoever. And it's just it's a shame, really. It's a shame. And so let me see. Keeping it G, we all know why Boots didn't pursue another belt after standing on this. He wasn't going to be able to make the weight healthy to compete at 147. And here's the thing. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. We were saying I was saying the more he moves up, the better he's going to be. Because he'll be able to unlock more and more full access to what his body can fully be able to do. That's not the issue. The issue is, buddy, you said you were going to do something. And then you did something else. When it's different when circumstances change. Yeah. But at the same breath, words have weight. And understanding of when we have an idea of what you're going to do, and then you go and do something else. Because again, even before that, even before he went after Unified, he said, I need to move up. Looks like I'm going to make a move to 154 directly after Shugishan fight. Then he stayed down. Again, he went after Undisputed. We tried to go after Undisputed by going to Unified, and he kept to his word, which, again, I talked about on the show. That's fine as long as you do what you're going to do. But even still, it was like we were saying, well, what are you doing? Why? What's the purpose? Hence why he got a lot of ire. So it is frustrating. It is incredible. It's incredibly. Oh gosh, it's incredibly frustrating. But real quick, we don't want to we want to make sure we keep everybody engaged. And I think we've covered just about everything that we can cover in the main dichotomy of this show. So I think we can elevate over into the world of the championship rounds to give y'all time to say whatever you all want to say. So it's time to work, it's time to shine, it's time to make this show sublime. Let's see what you all got in the last 30 minutes or potentially an hour into this show. We're going to let y'all ride the ship and say whatever you all want to say in regards to the wider scope of the boxing world or the sports world in general, whether it's the NBA, the NFL, boxing, movie, sports, television, TV, video games, all of that and the sorts. If I can talk about it, I can be about it, and we can discuss it right here on the show. We want to give you all a chance to get some takes up, get some opinions, get some thoughts, ask me questions, all this stuff. And if I can answer it, hey, more than obliged to go about it, absolutely. And I would love to hear what you all have to say in regards to the wider array of the sports world as a whole. But let me see, Brian Norman Jr. going to bring American boxing back. He could. Okay, he's more inclined to do it than Richard Torres, with all due respect to Torres. And it's like I'm hoping that he can be that star. Now, granted, Devin Haney is American. Devin Haney has been taking on a lot of great competition. It's expected as but ain't like. But the body doesn't gravitate to people like you would normally expect. Also, if you haven't tuned in already, they get ready to face off against each other. Eubanks and Benn. Benn is dressed like a eccentric hitman, all leather, all black. But even still, I'm interested. Hold on, let me turn this up real quick. Because I'm interested to see if somebody gonna slap each other. Hold on a minute. Wait a second. I want to see if they're gonna hit each other. They talking, they jawing, they look pretty calm, cool, and collected. Ain't no eggs in their pocket this time, unlike last time. Oh, now the dads are facing. Oh man, and now the dads are facing off against each other. And now, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, y'all. Nigel Benn and Eubanks Senior are starting to go draw at it now. Oh gosh, hold on. Eubanks and Nigel now they starting to draw. They hugging it out, but man, they starting to get a little. Someone's getting a little bit antsy. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. For a split second, it looked like they were, Eubanks and Nigel we're about to get back in that mode one more time against each other. Oh man, but let me keep on reading what you had to say as we're in the championship rounds segment of this show. Devin Haney beating Brian Norman by unanimous decision. And the official cards are going to read 7-5, 7-5, and 8-4. That man, hey, look now. I don't know. And the biggest thing is going to be, again, my biggest instance is the jab of Haney. If that gets nullified, what's going to happen? And I'm scared it's going to be bad for Haney. That's my biggest thing. Everything about Haney's game plan that I've even tried to encapsulate with is built off of whether or not he can use that jab consistently as a weapon to not just score, but to be able to escape. And I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to be the case. He's going to be sharp. Yeah, he's going to be, deliberate, sure, in terms of being able to use his distance, use his footwork, all that. I have no doubt. I don't think it's going to work. Not against this type of fighter. If it does, credit to him. But I got my doubts. Let me see. Abdul is also someone that can be the future of American boxing. Yep, he can't. He is going to be a big threat. Once he get he's going to really start evolving once he gets to 140. Mark my words. You're going to see the best version of Abdullah Mason once he gets to 140. I believe he's going to beat Sam Noakes. I think he's going to knock out Sam Noakes. And then with that title, he'll defend it a couple times, hopefully against the likes of Abdullah Mason or potentially Shakur Stevenson. Or even Tank. Who knows? Whatever the case may be. And then he moves up to 140. And once he gets to 140, win, lose, or draw, wherever his career goes when it ends at 135, 140, I think we're gonna see the best version of him as a whole. I think we're gonna see the best version of him as a whole. Again, that's my truly, that's my sentiment. Let me see. If Haney can avoid punches, that's gonna be another question. If Devin Haney can avoid the shots on a consistent basis, but he can't fight timid. He can't fight timid. That's the thing. He can avoid punches, but he can't fight scared. He can't. He can't fight scared.
We got some problems here.
He cannot. Devin Haney cannot afford to fight scared against Brian Norman. If he fights scared, it's gonna be a knockout. I guarantee it's gonna be a knockout if he fights scared against Brian Norman. Fighting just to stay around. Or just to get out of the way. Because he cannot do what he did against Jose Ramirez. He can't. Not at all. He cannot at all. Yeah, that is the worst case scenario. That's the worst case scenario. Let me see. He still tried to give us standing illness after taking his mandatory as a champion. Should yet some people are fine with fighters of a certain promotion, not named Zerto, actively pursuing belts. I mean, like, let me say what is this in regards to? I believe this is in regards to. I believe this is in regards to Boots. I believe. Yeah, I think this is in regards to response with Boots Ennis. Okay, just had to make sure I checked out my window to make sure everything was all good. But let me see. Brian does a good job countering a jab. He does. Devin can still be the face of American boxing moving forward. He doesn't necessarily have to be beloved. Just the mere mention of his name starts his. So that's a good question. I'm not gonna say for the world, because that's more so global stats. But for the States, can you be hated and still be the face of the sport? People bring up Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd, even though he got a whole bunch of hate and fed into it, he was beloved by so many people. So many people. The amount of people that still have him as the GOAT of boxing in their mind is staggering. That man was, for America, it was violent. It was a violent discourse, but it was more so love than hate. It was more so credit given rather than rather than dissenting sentiments, though there were many. Tank Davis, a litany of fans. He gets a lot of hate as well, but he still is more beloved than he is hated by the majority of the boxing world from the standpoint of when he was on time. Now, in light of recent events, that change. That can change. A lot of recent events that can change. But for the whole of his boxing career, yeah, it's been pretty consistent. He's been up on top. So I don't know if Devin can be the face of the sport, even as champion. Because even when he was undisputed, he wasn't the face of American boxing. Errol Spence had that title more than him. Teofimo Lopez had that title more than him. From the standpoint of for the States, who was the biggest face that we had? Deontay Wilder had a bigger name than him and was a more connected face to American boxing than Devin Haney, even when Devin Haney was on top. So I don't know if he can ever be the real face of this sport, unless he all of a sudden starts gravitating people and he gets to that semblance of a Tank-esque type of identity, not from the standpoint of you copying him, but from the standpoint of outright grandeur. You know, the whole of the pie when it comes to his career is something that everybody wants to have a slice of. It's something that everybody wants to have a piece of. It's something that everybody, hold on. Hello? Okay, I had to make sure my audio wasn't going right. But it was actually, does it sound better here, audio wise, or does it sound better up here? Trying to make sure I got my audio right. Does it sound better when it's a tad bit lower? Does it sound a little bit cleaner? Or does it sound a tad bit better when it's higher? Just for reference standpoint. Okay, we adapting on the fly, just trying to make sure we can better the show. But but back to the conversation at hand. I don't know if Haney can ever get to that level of outright wide acclaim and notoriety. I don't know if he can. I would assume, but I would assume there's a possibility, but I don't think he can ever get there. I just don't think he can. He's got to change something about himself. He's got to, honestly, it might have to be that he fights in a more exciting manner, but he's got to change. Something's got to be different if he wants to get the type of grandeur that we see with Tank, that we even saw with Tio when he was riding high. Something's got to shift, because right now he's fighting everybody. He's doing everything that we want a champion to do, but he still ain't getting the type of love. He still ain't getting the type of love, and so, yeah. I don't. He's an important source, but at this point in time, I don't think he'll ever be the name of this sport. I don't think so. Ryan Garcia was a bigger name in America than Devin Haney. He wasn't as accomplished, but as a drawing star power and known throughout America, he had a bigger name. He had a bigger name. Some would argue he still does. Just off the backs of, again, what was his cachet, and then also with all the violent stuff that he's gone, with the volatile stuff that's gone throughout his career, it still is like, Ryan Garcia is either around, or even for some people, he's above or more well known than Devin Haney. Hardcore fans, yeah, we know Devin Haney, absolutely. But the casual people I've talked to, more so people, they know Ryan Garcia more than anybody. Or at least more in the realm of continuity with Devin Haney. Especially out the backs of that loss, or that fight that they had with each other. So it's a, I don't know. It would be interesting. It would be very much interesting. Absolutely. But let me see. People want entertainment. Enter Brian Norman Jr. And you're right. He can put on displays that have the public all forget in a tizzy, have the public captivated. He can. And he's done it. He absolutely can do it. And that's why I'm excited for this instance because of what he can be as a potential shock and awe for everybody in the States. Oh, it can be incredible. It can be incredible. Let me see. That is true. Wilder was entertaining, but folks said he was a bum outside of just only having power. But like even like start. Here's the thing. It takes more than skill to get you the face of a sport. Skill is the most important thing. But it ain't the only thing that causes people to be faces of a country or of the entire sport as a whole. Canelo wasn't just Canelo just because he was that great. He captivated the globe in a manner that was more encompassing than anybody else. Wilder, he encapsulated America. Yeah, it was just power, but what did he propagate? He was raw. He was unfiltered. He was ruthless. He was seen as a killer. We were begging for somebody that was of the vicious notion as Mike Tyson. Now, I'm not saying he was nearly as good as Mike Tyson or as vicious, but the standpoint of a semblance of, oh, this man, if he touches you, you're going to go to sleep. Plain and simple, and he wants to do it. I want a body on my resume. I want to kill somebody in the ring, but people gravitate to that because it is an identity of aggression. Sugar Ray Robinson, the Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Louis, power, skill, entertainment in the ring, all that was there, and then the ultimate gentleman, who you should aspire to be. Outside the ring, became an icon, a hero, a standard that people wanted to gravitate towards. Ali, we don't need to say anything about Ali. Yeah, he was different from what we had seen in the heavyweight division from anything else come before that. His skill was incredible. His heart was undeniable. His speed was unbeatable. Had one of the best chins in boxing, adapted his style, became a 3-time world heavyweight champion. Had awards and beaten Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Bob Foster, anybody else under the sun. And outside the ring, this man was an entity. He was he became so big, he became American folklore. He became American culture in a way that no other boxer had been able to become outside of, again, Sugar Ray Robinson at that point in time, who he modeled his own game after, who had I believe it was over a 10-minute standing ovation when he announced his retirement inside of the ring. Just him standing there waving at people. It is ridiculous. But it is real. It's more than just the fight that makes you that big of a star. It's got to be something extra. A flair, a means of connection. I'm drawn to you. I relate to you. I want to be you. Something like that has to gravitate. And with Devin Haney right now, it just doesn't. Will it? I don't know. Unless he gets to a point where he's like conquering multiple weight classes, like dominantly. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if he can do it because you got to. It's more than just a character. It is it's an intangible to some degree. Terrence Crawford right now just got the biggest win of his career and finally has all the respect of what he's earned and what he should have had as a boxer that long ago. But now that he beat Canelo, all of a sudden that no-nonsense type of notion and him as a personality, people are starting to see and they're saying, oh, wow, I didn't know he was like this. I like this guy. More than just the fighter, I like the man. I relate to the man. I want to be like the man, not just in the ring, but outside. After Errol Spence, he got that type of push as well because it opened up the widest audience in the biggest instance. The skill did everything necessary. Absolutely, it did. But then afterwards, the man became the point of investment. And the man garnered not just respect, but it garnered adulation. It got people invested in Terrence Crawford. Not just the in-ring fighting, but like, yeah, this brother just wants to go and beat everybody. His mentality, his persona, his ideology, his own charisma started to become more apparent and people started to gravitate towards it. It's an intangible that everybody has. But excuse me, it's an intangible that if you want to get to that level of face of the sport, face of America, face of a country, you gotta have a pull. Johnny Fisher over in the UK, but he had a cult following. Yeah, because of marketing. Yeah, because his father helped propagate and start the trend. But also, like Johnny Fisher himself, got people invested in him to where it became it became a self-energizing cycle of fan interest and investment. It became one of the hottest names over there. Tyson Fury, his personality, and his in-ring skill got him to one of the biggest names in the sport. Anthony Joshua, the physique, the smile, all that. Sugar Ray Leonard, the smile, commercials, but was ruthless in the ring. The personality, the kindness, the gentlemanship. It's always something with some people that gravitate. Mike Tyson, it was the volatility. It was the means of, but we don't know what to expect with this kid. I'm scared to be in the room with him. I'm scared to look him in the eye. But my gosh, I want to be like that. And my gosh, I can't not be a part of whatever this cat's about. It is savagery unfiltered. It is a conqueror's type of identity, unabated. And this cat's my size, but he's doing this on top of he's speaking like this outside the ring. Oh my gosh. It's an X factor that can't be ignored. I don't know if Devin Haney can get there. That's my thing. I really don't know if he can get it. Let me see. Vaughn Greenhill, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Let me see what you got to say on the matter. Tank is like that one kid who gets left back and watch all his old classmates move on to the next grade. No, yeah, like at this point, he still got the great following. He still got the grandeur, but skill-wise and reputation-wise, now he's being left behind. Because again, regardless of what your skill is, regardless of what your status is, you still got to back it up. And right now, everybody else has been trying to back it up, but he ain't. And it is a problem. It is a problem. It's a big problem. Let me see. Skill plus entertainment. People don't want to see jabbing fest. And it's like, it's difficult. People, because again, people said Floyd was a runner, but everybody loved Floyd. People loved, Willie Pep was loved. Napoleon Loche, or Napoleon Loche, one of the greatest defensive fighters in history, was loved, but he wasn't knocking people out. Pernell Whitaker, defensive fighter to his core, another one of the greatest defensive fighters ever. Yet still, he was beloved. So it ain't just about the style of fight. It's something about the man. It's something about the man that's disconnecting when it comes to connecting with at least American audiences. He's got fans, absolutely. He's got fanboys, absolutely. Fanboys, fangirls. He's got his sect of, yeah, we ride or die, no question. But the wider array, it ain't clicking like we think it should. Or it ain't clicking like a resume of his caliber you think should click. And it could be because of the person. It could be because of the person itself. Let me see. Norman Norman will beat you up instead of just boxing you up. He will. That's what we need. Most likely, that's what we're gonna get. Most likely that's what people are paying to see. Mind you, people are invested in this fight because they think Brian Norman is going to knock out Devin Haney cleanly in a way that we thought Ryan Garcia was gonna have done, but he popped. A lot of people are invested in this fight because they just want to see Devin Haney get knocked out. Just like with the Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul thing. People want to see Anthony Joshua knock out Jake Paul. So that's why we're excited. Because we don't like this guy. We just want to see him get beat. And then now, boom. Once that's done, it's over. We don't have to care anymore in regards to the Jake Paul thing. And for some people, the similar sentiment is what's going on with the likes of Devin Haney, to some regard. And so, but let me see. In regards to, excuse me, I'm sorry. The comment, my bad. TSO Bodega, thank you for clarifying. The comment you left earlier was in response to Boots versus Roberto Ortiz. Yep, you were right. Let me see. I can't wait for next week for Haney versus Norman. I can't either. It's going to be so spectacular. Ali and Floyd were not beloved by the majority during their careers for different reasons. Were folks that loved them, yes, but only after their careers end did they actually get their just due. Now, I feel like the later stages in Floyd was when the best ever, when he made a switch. He was vilified, but there was a litany of people that were like, again, similar to Tank. Nobody was getting money like him. Nobody. Every fight with him was a spectacular event, and this man had supporters. Oh, he had haters. He had a litany of haters. As did Ali, again, the Louisville Mouse. People hated the way that he talked. People said, man, this brother dancing around the ring, he ain't no fighter. What is it? Sonny Liston, go get him. Knock him out. And then he knocked out Sonny Liston. Oh, my gosh. Or excuse me, then he beat Sonny Liston. Oh, my goodness. Then he knocked him out second time. Oh, my gosh. And then the draft stock, or when he didn't go to the draft because he was standing against the war and got his license revoked, when he came back, everybody was excited and ready to see him. Had the beef with Joe Frazier. Then he lost to Joe Frazier. And then after Joe Frazier, stuff started to change a little bit. After that fight with Joe Frazier, stuff started to change. The litany around Ali, in light of the war, in light of people starting to fall in love with the personality, and in light of that fight, shifted. Then people were cheering. Wanting Ali. Next thing you know, Ali Mumbai going against George Foreman. And from that point, and once that clicked, everything was sunshine and roses. You couldn't step outside without Ali being in somebody's picture frame house. At that point was considered, I believe, at that point in time, one of the three biggest names in the world, at least in America, at minimum. And worldwide, the brother was beloved. Everybody wanted to see Ali because he was a figure. He became an icon. This is while he was still in his career. Post-war. Post-Vietnam. So, like, different stages. But the love, though it was drastically different, the love did happen. The love was there. And my thing is, I don't know if Devin Haney will ever have the love overshadow the hate that he gets, unlike with Floyd and with Ali and with others as well. Let me see. Let me try to make sure we get let me see. Drawing Power, I'm willing to contest that because, yes, Ryan Garcia has a larger following on social media, but the fame didn't translate to gate revenue or even pay-per-views outside of the Tank fight. Well, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Now we could also say that outside of the Ryan Garcia fight, Tank has never touched money nearly from Revenue Gate as close to the Ryan Garcia thing. Like I said, both of them, and I said this before, both of them needed each other to be able to come through and elevate each other to that degree. They needed each other to make that type of money. Absolutely. So you ain't lying. You're not lying. But more so, I'm speaking from the personal instance of when I bring up Ryan Garcia, more people know of him. Yes, because of social media. Yes, because he's been more inclined with YouTube, has done stuff with Jake Paul, done stuff with a lot of the younger crowd, has gone viral multiple times. So yeah, that is a part. But in terms of like revenue get, yeah, it ain't like he's still big. He'll still sell. He'll still, every event that he's a part of is still a big event, no question. But like he ain't doing tank type numbers just by himself. You're right. Yeah, you are absolutely right about that. Let me see. Having a unique character and personality, yep, that does all affect it absolutely. Let me see. For example, Ryan Garcia fighting Fortuna in LA. In Texas, did less views on the zone and less at the gate than David Haney versus Diaz or Linares in Vegas in smaller venues. Yeah, like I said, from a recognition standpoint, I've talked to people that know Ryan Garcia strictly because of the social media presence. But gate-wise, yeah, you ain't blowing him out the water. Yeah, right now. Especially with him losing to Roller Merrill. So this is, again, well and good after all the other stuff. So both of them got to amp stuff up. Both of them got to do it. Let me see. Do you think Pacheco could be next American star? What do you think about Pacheco? Could also be the next American star. I would say Pacheco just isn't as well known. Pacheco's a hidden gem that can, if he was seen, what could be in that conversation, at least from a skills perspective, that, hey man, this brother, he's moving great. I need to see what this cat's about. Genuinely. When it comes to, because like Brian Norman, Abdullah Mason, Shakur Stevenson, just rattling off three names. And even still, like, I'll even put Tank, even just because he's still existing. Though we don't know what's going to happen. All of them are bigger because they are more out and about. Especially Brian Norman now, with everybody getting focused on this fight with David Haney. It's like, okay, this can be something special. Pacheco is still kind of, it's not his fault, but Pacheco, because of all of that other hype, kind of has gotten pushed down by the rest of the boxing public. Not of his own fault, just because of the fact that he's being overshadowed by now, or right now, at least. But let him keep on winning the way that he's winning. Yeah, he can get there. Because when he wins, then that personality is going to start shining through, and then that can start outshining others around him. Not saying he's at the same weight class as Devin Haney or Brian Norman, but like in terms of just the race to the top of the American zeitgeist. He can't. He's because of the notoriety, he's more behind the 8 ball than the likes of a Haney right now or a Mason right now in the States, because they're being really pushed as like the next generation for American boxing is Abdullah Mason, Brian Norman, Shakur Stevenson, who's already at the top of a lot of people's list. That's what. But he can't get there. He can't. I hope he does. Or at least gets in that conversation. At least in that conversation, because man, it'd be great. It would be phenomenal. Let's see. He could, if he moved a little better, but his selling power is questionable. And again, that it's still that can change and grow. That can change and grow, but it's going to take promotional work. It's going to take him as well making consistent, dominant fight statements and making sure he does his due diligence to push himself to the American identity. He's going to have to, as with any boxer, if he wants to get there. But he can't. Yeah, I really do believe that he can. How do you see Bam versus Puma Martinez is going? With Bam right now, a knockout's almost inevitable for me. That he's going to knock him out. I'm picking him knocking Martinez out in 7, if not earlier. Last time I went and picked him to knock out an opponent late, he knocked him out in 3. And that was the fight before Kafu. But I'm thinking 7 rounds, he knocks out Martinez. I truly do. I truly do. And just like with every other fight, it's going to be with every fight, it's going to be those angles that he takes are so hard to stop. And that defense that he has, it is so crisp and clean that he will be able to still walk you down and stifle anything that you try to do, and then boom, set you up for wherever he wants to go. Nothing that's going to happen again with Martinez. And he's going to get a KO. Mind you, like I showed you in the interview with Showbiz the Adult, he was going to fight Junto. He wanted to fight Junto Nakatani next. That was going to be the fight, except for, as Bam said it, as Bam put it, is it Mr. Honda? I think it's Mr. Honda, who's what he said. Didn't want that fight to happen. Or at least not yet. But he was getting ready for Junto. So with him in that mode, okay, I thought I was going to get that fight next. I'm almost assured that, yeah, he still wants that fight, and he's going to make a statement to make sure that he gets put in the same names as Inoue and Junto, because he wants to get that type of smoke. Because I guarantee you, he's going to start picking up the pace sooner rather than later to get in the same vicinity as Inoue and Junto yet again. With Junto moving up to 122 and Inoue already there. And Inoue, the last stop for him is 126. His words. He's going to start making some moves to get up there. And boy, sooner rather than later, all 3 of them are going to be in the same place at the same time. And that would be spectacular. That would be phenomenal. That would, oh gosh, that would be incredible. Let me see. I think Haito Susumi versus Dickens will be for the full WBA World Championship. Yes, I believe it is. I believe it's for the full championship. And if that's the case, but I hope Haito gets it. Haito is such an exciting fighter. He got short, powerful shots. I love the way that he goes about his offensive work. I want to see him get a belt early. I do. I really do. Because my gosh, that would be, oh shoot. That's incredible. Him as a champion would be so entertaining. For me, him as a champion would be so entertaining. Oh my gosh. I really hope he does. I really hope he does get this championship. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure I catch everybody because we got a lot of people chatting. Anyway, has that star power. Globally, he has that star power. He's fought in the States 4 times. He's been the biggest name, or one of the biggest names, that at least in the boxing world, everybody recognizes and nobody can talk against. They can't even try. You've seen the recent interviews even with Brian Norman when they're doing media stuff with I forget the woman's name on DAZN. But when asking like who do you want to have in your contact list for like a celebrity anyway at 1 and whatever, and he was shocked because it was like, no, I'm sorry, it was anyways power was like a 1 compared to Deontay Wilder, Mike Tyson, and everybody else. And then Brian Norman was like, hey, brother, what you mean anyway at 1? What you talking about? Why is he at 1? And the way that brother is a $1 worth of power to make a perfect fighter. He's getting respect left, right, and center. And everywhere he goes, sells out. This man is so big he can stay in Japan and be great. And it makes sense. I guarantee you, man. That's why that fight with Junto is so exciting. Because once that happens, somebody's top is going to fly off when it comes to uncapped potential as a star in the sport. Not in the sport, not in the boxing world, in the sports world. There are certain wins that if you get them, elevate you past, at least for a point in time, past just the sport itself. That's one. I guarantee you that fight with Junto Nakatani is one of them. That fight's one of them. Whoever wins that fight is going to get catapulted to the sun. That's going to be insane. That's going to be insane. That's going to be ridiculous. And so, yeah, he did 13 million views in the U.S. alone on Facebook. He did. I remember. We were watching. Let me see. He came to America and people did not want him to leave. We didn't. You know what? Because, you know what's crazy? He would have sold out in America all 4 times if it wasn't for COVID. He fought over here 2 times during COVID. If he had been here fully every single time, no COVID at all, he would have sold out every arena he was in. You saw the buzz when he fought against Cardenas. And you saw what happened when he did fight. My gosh. Against a full, flushed out crowd that wasn't abated by the likes of disease. No kidding, you don't want that brother to go. Again, he can be the Pacquiao of your time. He can be the Pacquiao of our time. And so, from the standpoint of a beloved nature throughout the whole of the boxing world, I'm trying to skip through because there's a lot of people. Yes, there's a lot of people chatting, which is great, which is good. Let me see. Let me see if I can pick some more chats as we are nearing the 2. We almost at the 30-minute mark. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I go through the show. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, we got somebody new. Stop it. Hey, brother. What's going on with it? Stop it. How you doing? Hey, good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. So happy you're with us on today. Let's see. Hopefully you're leaving a like on the stream. Hopefully everybody's leaving a like on the stream who's tuning into the show. But let's see what you got to say right now. Let me see. Hello, Welch. You just started my oh, Lord. Well, you know what? Credit to you. Hopefully your business is doing great. You'll be interested in seeing Catterall with Boozy Ennis this weekend. Ballsy in 2026 is going to be the trainer of the year with Boots, Andy Fulton, and Catterall. Right now, Boozy Ennis is one of the more intriguing trainers that I have my eye on. Not just because we're trying this, I want to see where Boots goes throughout his career, but also with the litany of people that are starting to gravitate towards him. Now, he could have a very good stable. Because understand this, he gets a title and or he wins versus Ortiz with Boots as his trainer or Boots as his fighter. Then also Andy Cruz, I believe it's Andy Cruz is working with. It is Andy Cruz, correct? Let me validate that to make sure. Andy, want to make sure I ain't got my Andys mixed up. Okay, yeah. Andy Cruz. Also, he wins. Come next year and he gets championship around his waist. Fulton, if he beats O'Shaquie Foster while being the 126-pound champion, moves up to 130 and beats O'Shaquie Foster and takes his belt. Next thing you know, that's 3 champions back to back to back, or one huge win and 2 champions back to back to back. And Catterall, I believe who's on the card of Eubanks and Conor Benn. He gets a win as well. Yeah. Hey. Well, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. That's pretty good. I can't lie. That's pretty good. That would be pretty good. And Catterall, I don't know if Catterall and Bosey is gonna work. But if it does, that's a credit. That's a credit. That's a huge credit. Not because Catterall's a bad fighter. He's not a bad fighter. But that's a credit to Bosey. That's a credit to Bosey. Because that shows that he's fluid and can connect with multiple people. With varying styles of fighter. That would be impressive. I'm not gonna lie. That would be impressive. That would push him. That would push him. That would push him up for trainer of the year conversations. It would. It would. I can't lie. It would. Anyone would have been more successful in the U.S. if they handled him better. Yeah, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. Like, again, to some degree, COVID played a part in why his star power in the States didn't take place. Because, again, even when he fought over here, people didn't know. Now, yeah, that's also because of marketing, but that's also, but in Top Rank didn't do their due diligence to get people invested in, hey, brother, he's fighting over here during that point in time. But everybody was struggling at that point in time. So I fault them, but also I understand. But in lieu of that, off the backs of what he did against Cardenas, then it should have been a consistent push to get him out there. And they did a job great at the start, but then it kind of fizzled out. And it's like, I get they got more stuff going, but I mean, like, again, it shouldn't have been that we saw Tank have more notoriety across most platforms than we saw from Inouye, from Top Rank. What, based on what he had done, that is problematic. Absolutely. So you ain't lying. You are not wrong at all. Would have been, if he had been handled better here, he would have even been a bigger star. But he's already a huge star now, which is a testament to what he is as a fighter. The more he comes to the USA, often he'll be much bigger. Yeah, no, he will. And again, he's already making six figures without the US. Understand, he doesn't need the States to be what he is as a fighter. That man has his own comic or has his own manga series over there. He is one of the biggest stars in all of Japan. Dare I say in all of Europe. But specifically in Japan, China, and over in that sect of the world. He's so big, he's almost a self-made economy. Nearly. Or at least he's in that vicinity. Because of how much he is a star. What Canelo is to Mexico, he is to the Japanese audience. And it is vast. It is incredibly vast. Let me see. So he crazy enough, he hasn't needed to come over here. Just when he has, he's just been bigger and consistently dominant. And so it's great. Let me see. Anyway, beats Nakatani, he will be coming. Oh no, once he beats Nakatani, that's gonna be some reckless abandon. Because that's a super fight that you can't help but push. And off the backs of that, now, most likely after Nakatani, he's going up to 126. I would imagine. Unless he's waiting for Benn Rodriguez, I would imagine he goes up to 126 and starts the beginning of the end of his run. Because he said he ain't staying around for I forget what age he said he was going to get out of here. But now you're getting with, it's going to be like with most fighters. At that point in time in their career, once it gets to that later stages, they get all the respect that they deserve. And I think that's going to be the catalyst. That will be the biggest win. That will be the win. The non-negotiable that everybody wants to see. Let me keep on reading. Plenty of people came out. Yep, people still came out to watch and watch. COVID like a proper promotion and then scheduling for him on Sunday of Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, no, you're right. I don't know why. You should have made that a separate weekend. Now, they probably tried to get into the hype of with Canelo on a card. Okay, you're already in a fight mood. Now you can see him and then see us the next day. It wasn't a bad play because I saw how it worked and I believe it did work. And we're talking about the fight with Cardenas, which was in the weekend of Canelo and Skull. I think that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. Because that was one of the most replayed clips and one of the most highly rated fights of that entire weekend. That literally won the whole of the weekend. That fight with Cardenas after Canelo in May. So it was like, oh my gosh. Crazy enough, he came out looking better than everybody else in that weekend. And so because of that, Remember, that was Ryan. I believe that was Ryan Garcia, T.O., Devin Haney, Canelo, and Inoue. All were fighting back to back to back. Because we did back to back to back streams. And Inoue won the night. Which is crazy. He won the night. Let me see. Ramon Vasquez, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning into the show. Just finished watching Espinosa King got press conference. We just got finished with the Eubanks Conor Benn press conference not too long ago up here, but we get ready to wrap this up because I think we about at the 30-minute mark that I tried to set a buffer on. Not saying we're gonna necessarily stop if y'all keep talking, but do want to make sure I save some stuff for tomorrow because if you get what I'm saying. But let me see. I understand that they had placed him on a better day, it would have done better. I mean, again, there is an argument. There is an argument. Now, I'm not a promoter, so me thinking that putting him on the backs of Canelo because of Canelo having the weekend and then you got more fights coming, everybody's already in a fight mood, that may be why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. But again, his own weekend that's marketed as like you can't miss this would be incredible. Would be incredible. Will they do that now? I hope so. The biggest thing about, regardless of what takes place, we just need to see these people, in terms of Bob Arum and Top Rank, push in a way as fervently as possible. Push in a way as the biggest name on their dossier of fighters. Because you would be a fool not to, because they have that capacity. Because he has that capacity to be that face of the sport. He's got the capacity to be that face of your promotion. He does, if you just went about and moved with him. That's all. That's all. Hopefully they learn from that. Hopefully they did. They can bring him back just do it better this time. And I truly do think they will. I know they will. Because it's too much buzz around them. They just got to be diligent with it. Him and Carrington and the USA would be great numbers. That would be great numbers. You still got people detracting him, saying he ain't fought Will Smoke. He fought Bruce Carrington in the States, in New York, and he beat him. That would be insane. That would be insane. Let me see. Look at Pacquiao, for instance. It took fighting Morales 3 times, Marquez twice, and Barrera twice to build his profile before he got his big pay-per-view break against Oscar. Anyway, doesn't have those types of names up until 135. Yeah, from a requisite start. Now, again, Juan Manuel Marquez, huge. Eric Morales is huge. Barrera's huge. Insane. Reading that off, fighting Morales 3 times, fighting Marquez twice, and Barrera twice. That's insane. That's 7 times he's went against GOAT level talent before he got his opportunity to fight and beat another GOAT level talent in Oscar for retiring the brother. That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous run. That's insane. That's preposterous. Like, that's legitimately ridiculous. When you put it that way, that's like, oh my gosh. Why did it take that much? But even still, it took a lot. And people that aren't born in the States, it takes a minute for them to get that type of push. Is it fair? No, it ain't. But it's the reality. With Inoue at 122, even at 118, outside of Nonito Donaire, from the standpoint of widely acclaimed, recognized talent on the global scope, it's not many. Not because the quality isn't there, but because the known recognition isn't nearly as abounding up until you get to 130 and beyond. More specifically, 135 is right now where everybody's current standard of knowledge starts, from the lowest division on up, of who's recognizable in the boxing world. Akhmadali is a great name. Insane name that he beat and that he won every round against with the greatest of ease. That should not have been, that should be even more of a shock. But guess what? It's not being touted because people don't know it. Akhmadali like that. People don't know Marlon Tapalas like that. People don't know Louis Neary like that. People don't know Cardenas like that. People don't know a lot of these names. Which again, it ain't fair. But sadly, that's what we are. And you got to tout them at all times. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, and it's a shame. It's a shame. But again, promoter's fault. You have to do right. One last question: how does Janibek beat Lara? Do you think he KOs him? Janibek probably beats Lara. How do we say this? Janibek beats Lara. Most likely by walking him down. Most likely. Janibek beats Lara by most likely walking him down. He'll start off jabbing with him, using that length. He'll get into that Philly shell of trying to, catch him and make and stop Lara's jabs, putting out the powerful jabs of his own. And then we'll most likely see round 4, he's going to start coming forward. And then from there, it's going to be, all right, we're doing deliberate work now. Now I'm jabbing, I'm still Philly shelling, but now I'm closing distance still, just trying to use my length and reach as a whole. Now I'm coming in for damage. Now if I am at the edge of your jab, because I know I got longer arms, I'm opening up a little bit more. I'm trying to throw some more combinations and close that gap on my end. Not because I don't have the longer reach, but because now I'm trying to hurt you. And Lara, it's most likely going to try to go through and again be slick and have the incredible countering ability that he does and land some good shots on Janibek as well, but it won't deter him. And then it's going to be that as the fight gets more and more elongated, we see Janibek get more and more fervent. We're trying to push on the front foot and force Lara on the back foot. Because Lara doesn't have the legs that he used to. And he can fight slick, absolutely. But also, if you can make him move back, might not be nearly as effective. He can still be dangerous, absolutely. But moving back against a fighter that, again, knows how to apply pressure while still keeping his distance in the prime range, like with Janibek, to hurt you, it can get sketchy. It can get dangerous. It can really get dangerous. That's how I think. That's my best bet for how I would think Janibek would beat him. By attempting to not just stay on the outside and use those shots with that length, those big long hooks, the long hooks and uppercuts downstairs, but he attempts to close the gap. Especially if he feels that Lara's power might not be something that he has to worry about. You'll probably see Janibek getting swelled up. You'll probably see Janibek start getting some cuts on one side of his face, but you'll also see him get more confident, smiling more. And then you're going to see him really start going to work. And I think he's going to get the KO. I truly do. I truly do think he's going to knock him out. At least in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. Let me see. Espinoza with Inoue would be big in the U.S. on single the mile. Now, I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. Again, I'm more inclined, it would be even bigger if Nick Ball fought Espinoza and whoever unified, and if Espinoza beats Nick Ball, bringing a unified title into that fight with Inoue and Espinoza. That would be my best bread and butter. If I was to have my way. That would be my best thing. I would love for that to happen. But hopefully we see that coming about. But the main thing with Inoue, he can be a bigger star. He can be a great star. We just need to see Top Rank promote him constantly. The same way Tank is promoted by PBC. The same way that the Zone promotes Canelo. The same way that the PBC was promoting Floyd, Showtime was doing with Pacquiao. All that stuff. Not saying that Showtime was a promotion, but it was a broadcasting platform. But you get what I'm saying. Do that with Inoue, and you have no questions. The star's going to be born by itself, and then everything's all hunky-dory. And I can't wait. And then, not just a top talent, but a top name in the global sports zeitgeist can happen all with that decision. Now I can't wait. And hopefully, we see that transpire. But again, we've covered Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. We've covered Ortiz and looking like he's ducking boots. We've covered the likes of Espinosa. Anyway, we've covered doggone Eubanks, Benn. I think this has been a very much fulfilling show, and I think we can wrap this up and send this home. Unless somebody else has something they want to say, I think we can go on and get out of here. So, with all of that being said, and with the action-packed show now officially in the books, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc. We appreciate your time and energy. We appreciate your effort. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Hopefully it was entertaining. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you laughed. You got some debate. You might not agree with everything, but we made sure to give you the best entertainment possible and a great talking point. And hey, maybe an opinion that you can take to your own friends and family in regards to the fight, to the boxing world as a whole and the sports world as a whole. But we appreciate all you tuning in. Thank you to everybody who tuned in and listened. If you want to support the channel, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description. Monetization is coming potentially within the week. Hey, within the week. They can do it within the week. We may have to start popping off. So get ready, get your wallets out. We're gonna be making bank, baby. Absolutely, all with you and your support. Oh man. But it's going to be fun. Hopefully we'll get that all lined up within the week, and I think it should happen. But, hey, it's been a phenomenal show. Be sure to leave a like on the stream before you get out of here. Comment your thoughts and opinions on what you liked or didn't like about the channel. Thank you to everybody who tuned in to the show with us on today. The top chatters, pound for pound, for this show on today. Number 5, Teach. Number 4, pound for pound with Stabby. Number 3, pound for pound, Love King. Number 2, pound for pound, TSO Bodega. And number 1, pound for pound, yet again at the top of the rankings, is Amin Rhoda. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And welcome back to the top of the pound for pound list as the best chatter on the show for today, at least per YouTube rankings anyway. But again, we appreciate all your support. Thank you all for tuning in. Please be sure to share the show with everybody you know. Rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform. Listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. And what else? Oh yeah, subscribe to the channel. Join the empire. Hit the notification bell. And be back here on Friday for the whole show is dedicated to you all. As the whole show is championship rounds, you all drive the conversation for the entirety of tomorrow's episode. And we're going to be ready. Eubanks and Benn going to be talking about that. More stuff with Jake Paul. Probably more stuff with Virgil. Probably more stuff with everything surrounding the world of boxing. And so shoot, more stuff on Shakur and Chief Lopez. Most likely it's going to be coming about because I heard rumors that fight has now been not just been finalized, but like it's getting announced come next week. So regardless of which, it's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be exciting to talk about. It's going to be exciting to listen to. It's going to be exciting to enjoy. All of you tune in tomorrow afternoon. So I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. Oh, we right here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all on Friday, tomorrow afternoon. Same time, same place, same channel. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace and love. We out.